right, here we go.
Yes, sir.
Lord Jamar.
Vlad.
Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
How we always do about this time.
Yeah, you're really here this time.
I'm really here this
You're
time.
not a fucking TV screen or some shit.
No, I'm here in person.
Yeah. What's good?
The Godcast is doing well.
Godcast is doing well. Shout out Rod Digger, Godfrey.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
So Godfrey's a permanent member of the Godcast?
Yeah,
now?
when he's in town. He's on the road a lot, but when
is?
he's on town and he's not going viral with Steve Harvey and all that,
Right.
he's fucking with us. Yeah.
That's what it is. You guys
Yeah.
are doing the live events too?
Oh, well, we have people in the audience and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
But first...
Fuckers is mad at you, Vlad, but, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Yeah, I know.
But before we talk about all that,
Okay.
I want to bring this up.
Okay.
Since VladTV is usually going viral for like a negative type story or an expose or something like that,
Right.
we actually went viral recently when we interviewed Jason Weaver.
Yes, the young man that played Michael Jackson in the Jackson joints.
Right, in the Jackson
And then
TV
he was-
series.
Yes.
And then,
Lion King and all this stuff.
yeah, well, he was the singer in the original Lion King
Right.
as young Simba.
Right.
He did all the singing parts.
Right.
And in the interview, which we'll go ahead and play right now, he was offered $2 million.
Right. He turned it down for like $100,000 plus royalties, which was the better deal in the long run.
In the long run. And there was different ways to look at it. Me and him actually talked about it as well. People thought I was kind of hating on him or whatever, because it's like, well, if you had taken that $2 million and bought Disney stock during that time, you would now have $26 million plus $350,000 a year in royalty, in dividends. But back then, who would have known, whatever else. His mom, because he was a young kid at the time, his mom made a good decision to take the royalties, which he's still making money off of today. So that went viral. And, me and him hung out, had some drinks, and, I was talking to him, seeing the effects, because he hadn't gone viral in quite a while.
I didn't know where the fuck he was, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
Well, he was an ATL.
seemed like he just kind of,
Yeah,
you
he
didn't see him no more.
Didn't see him a lot. So he was an ATL. He was also in a movie called Lady Killers by the Coen brothers.
Okay.
One of the Coen brothers, lower performing movies, but a dope movie nonetheless. So he texted me the other day, and I asked him if I could go ahead and post this text, and he said absolutely, so people don't think I'm just hijacking people's private messages. But he hit me up. He said, yo, I've had 3 TV and film offers come in this past week due to our interview going viral. Thanks, Vlad. And I was like, what? Congrats. And he was like, thanks, bro. We'll go ahead and show this on screen. He said, thanks, bro, man. That interview at Hollywood Talking. Seriously, man, I appreciate you for letting me come on the show. I had no idea that it was going to evolve into this.
There you go.
There you go.
Something positive.
Yeah.
And I know for you, that's like a wet dream. Like, I'm going to tell you, Vlad you love either way, but it's good that this came out as something positive, but I noticed that you love when VladTV makes news outside of VladTV. You understand? Like, Kobe responds to something that was in VladTV. This one from a VladTV interview. Like, you like that VladTV, and as you should, has affected shit in the real world. You see what I'm saying? Outside of just this, your own website. Like, you're actually touching motherfuckers in the real world.
Yeah, well, outside of my core audience.
Right.
Who also live in the real world.
Right, well, you know what I mean.
I don't have a bunch of bots following me.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. Outside your core audience.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a better way to say it. And when you can just be part of pop culture, is what you really like. Is part of pop culture, that I feel is like a badge to you. Like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. Like, motherfuckers, you gotta deal with this Vlad shit. And pat on my back to yourself.
I think every media outlet strives for their stories becoming international news across the board. I think this is what we all strive for. We're not just trying to talk to the same people over and over again. We're trying to broaden
Well,
our
I think
reach.
you are, though. I think you are, because you won't be successful if you don't focus on a certain demographic. You definitely do want to talk to the same people over and over, but it's always nice when it broadens beyond that.
Yeah, and you never know when it's going to happen. It's always like, I didn't know this part of the interview was going to do well. I didn't know the interview was going to do well, period. You never know. It's like, okay, here's a guy that people my age range are familiar with, but like I said, like you said, a lot of people didn't really know about him like that. I didn't know
where he went. And it wasn't like I was spending my day, gee, what happened to Jason? You know, but it's just like, once you see him, you're like, oh yeah, I remember, dude. Like, what happened? Like, where'd you go? Like, you know, so yeah, it was good that you interviewed him.
Well, and also for me, in terms of what I push in terms of financial literacy and the stance that I took about Jeffrey Owens, you know, making bad business decisions where he's having to work at a grocery store, you know, in his 50s. Here is like the opposite of that. Here is a man who actually made good business decisions when he was younger and gave up upfront money and didn't waste his money up front. So now when he's like, I think he's in his 30s, late 30s. So let me actually look up how old he is. Jason Weaver is 40 years old. Here's a 40-year-old who you haven't seen in a lot of movies, you haven't seen in a lot of TV shows recently, who's financially good because of these Lion King checks and so forth. He's cool. He's offering it.
I didn't know he was in the Lion King like that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was him.
Well, because you never saw his face. It was just his voice.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
who would have known? And it's funny also because me and him talked about it. And like, Disney has never really given percentages like that, royalties like that. They were like, we're Disney. Take the money or don't take the money. We don't care. But he nailed those songs so well that Disney just knew they couldn't just go and get another kid to sing these parts. Right. They're like, damn, it's just, you know, like Hakuna Matata, you know, I Want to Be King. Like, he nailed it so well that Disney was like, shit. All right, let's negotiate. I guess we got to give this kid royalties.
And it was funny. He was like, up until that point, you had to be like, I think he said Peebo Bryson.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking like, half these people don't even know who the fuck Peebo Bryson is.
I don't really know who that is. I had to look him up.
He's a singer from back in the days. I haven't heard Peebo's name in a long fucking time. It was just funny when he said Peebo Bryson.
He also, Jason also sang One Phone Call Away, the hook for Chingy.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
Yeah, so he had a singing career also somewhat, but yeah, no, man, like I hung out with him. He was buying me drinks. He was offering to take me out to like Boa to dinner and stuff. Like, he's cool. He's got a son. Like, he's chilling. Like, without being on a hot TV show or a hit movie right now, he's chilling. I love that. I love that. When you hit your 40s, man, you don't want to be struggling paycheck to paycheck and barely making it by and trying to go viral doing stupid shit.
Right, but you know, at the same time, his story is anecdotal. It's abnormal. It's, you know, how many fucking people get the chance to sing Hakuna Matata in the fucking Lion King and then get the royalties from the fucking Lion King? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Yeah, who would have known the Lion King was going to be the Lion King? Who would have known?
I think they knew that.
You think so?
Yeah. Disney doesn't make, like, big animated movies without, like, doing some sort of demographic research, knowing that this shit is gonna fucking probably do well. Like.
Yeah, but you
wasn't the Lion King? Where did it come from? Was it the play first?
No.
Oh,
Play came way later. No, it was
okay,
a story.
So the Lion King was just something from Disney straight off
Something
the bat.
from Disney, and they'd been struggling with this project for years. It wasn't coming together. Like, you
when
know,
it finally came together, they put it out. So they had a good idea.
Yeah.
And they put money behind it.
Yeah.
They had a good idea it was going to make some money. Trust me.
Yeah.
Or else they wouldn't have gave your boy $2 billion just to sing a couple of songs in this motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
He did.
I mean, imagine what they gave Elton John, because he wrote the songs.
Exactly. And imagine what his royalties are like.
Oh, yeah. he wrote those songs. So they can't not give him a percentage. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's publishing and songwriting. That's a whole different ballgame right there. And he was already Elton John at that
Jason's
point.
getting paid from the mechanical royalties
Yeah.
of the actual performance of it.
Right.
When you getting paid from the writing and, you know, and if he wrote the music too, like not just the words.
Yeah.
But the musical side
Well,
of it.
his co-writer, Bernie Taupin, I think, writes all the music, and he does
Okay.
all the lyrics.
Wow.
But whatever, the two of them.
That's a bunch of money for both of them. That's what the fuck that is.
Right, and Jason was explaining to me how it's not just like when the movie gets reshown, it's like when the Broadway play
Yeah, when
goes
the lunchbox
and they're
gets sold.
and they're well not necessarily the
Yeah,
lunchbox,
yeah.
but it's audio. But
Right,
like
okay, gotcha.
if they play his actual part in like the play, or they do like Disney on Ice, or they do little TV shows or whatever, that's all a check. Ching ching ching
Yeah,
ching.
well, I
ching.
bet you Elton he's plugged into the lunch boxes.
Yeah.
And the fucking figurines and all of that type of shit. I bet you.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly. Well,
And
shout
I
out.
would take less money to be plugged into all of that. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, Lion King was the best-selling Disney movie of all
As a
time.
matter of fact, they got some people, I heard of some people like, nah, you know what? I don't want, who was it? Was it Michael Keaton or somebody? Was like, nah, I don't want nothing for Batman, but I want all the fucking, I want to be plugged into all the fucking merchandise and all this type of shit.
He was the first Batman, right?
I think so. I'm
Yeah,
not
Michael
sure.
Keaton was the first
yeah,
Batman.
And I think he was like, nah, you don't have to give me the upfront money. Just plug me into the merchandise.
Yeah, well, shout out to Jason Weaver.
Shout
We're
out.
about to see him more on TV and movies.
Okay.
Thanks to VladTV.
Thanks to VLAD.
And it's funny, right? Because I just
Well, thanks to his talent, but yes, we're bringing him back.
That thanks to
Yeah.
I mean both his
Making
talent
awareness.
and the awareness.
Yes.
Right, because I remember I just interviewed Talib Kweli. It's not out yet, but he was saying like, well, what do people benefit from Vlad TV? And I'm like, well, Lord Jamar gets more bookings through Brand Nubian. You know, Godfrey gets a lot more bookings and bigger crowds when he does a stand up. And he's like, oh, are they gonna co-sign this? I'm like, yeah, they're gonna co-sign this. It's true.
I mean, it's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you right now, I could talk about the same topic on my channel, which has been out for only a year and some change.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if it's a hot topic on there, man, maybe if there's 100,000, that's great. But 10,000 is good on there. You see what I'm saying? On your shit, I could talk about the same shit. It'll be like 350,000.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Just because of the infrastructure that you already have in place. You see what I'm saying? I almost liken it to why a motherfucker would sign with a record company.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you sign with a record? Because they have an infrastructure to get your fucking record
Yeah.
further than if you just started from scratch doing your shit out the trunk.
Yeah. They can make one phone call and have 50 stations start to play it that day.
Only because they've been fucking with these 50
These radio
states. They've
stations,
created these relationships over the years, whereas it might take you a little bit of time to get those 50 stations under your fucking umbrella to be able to have the same. And a lot of times, if you have a message that's timely, you see impertinent, you don't have a few years to fucking disperse the shit, then you might want to go to a platform where you feel more ears and people write out more, eyes and ears will hear and see what you have to say. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the benefit of coming on here. You know what I mean? It's just bigger awareness for what you have to say. So motherfuckers say, oh, he's getting paid off your interviews and all of this type of shit. Yes, and I'm benefiting as well. You know what I mean? It's a symbiotic relationship. And I'm not getting played, and please don't think that a motherfucker's playing me because I'm not getting played. Trust me.
Right. Because you know how much money I make off all your shows?
I don't even ask. I don't even ask.
No, do you know how much money I make off Brand Nubian shows?
Oh, zero.
Right. Do you know how
Right.
much money I'm going to make off these TV and film roles that Jason Weaver's making?
Right.
Nothing. In fact, I'll do you one further. A lot of times people will hit us. So, for example, we interviewed Pierre, the comedian, recently.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And people started hitting us. So we had a few emails of people that are like, oh, listen, we want to book Pierre for this comedy show.
Right.
Do you know how much it is? We just
forward
it.
it.
Just
right.
forward it to us. We're not trying to be the middleman.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, let me
let
go
me
to him.
negotiate
How much?
this
All right,
shit,
you
yeah.
want 1,000? Okay, we want 1,200, and we'll make it happen. And we're gonna keep 200.
Right.
No, none of that.
Right.
None of that. Whatever you benefit off of from being on Vlad TV is your money forever. For as long as it lasts. We don't want none of it. We don't ask for none of it. We don't try to count other people's pockets. We make what we make, and whatever you make is totally on you. So everyone who gets mad can just keep getting mad.
I also say, like, okay, like, what if you had to pay out your pocket for a certain type of promotion?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you got people that's willing to pay for eyes and shit like that. And that could cost you a few $1,000s to do some shit like that. Like, just to boost a post on, whatever fucking website can cost you some fucking money.
Yeah, people have offered me $20,000 to do interviews, and I've turned them down. People literally every single day we get like maybe 5 to 10 emails. How much for an interview? I'm willing to pay. There's dollar signs in the titles, whatever. And we either ignore them or we say we don't sell Vlad TV interviews. Every time. Every time. So at the end of the day, the interview's free. I have the cost of the interview. And let me tell you, not every interview I do makes money. I take L's on a fair amount of them. I think it's going to do well. This person's done numbers on other platforms.
Right.
They come on Vlad TV, and it's like every clip is like 10, 12,000. Sometimes I have to cut them short. Sometimes I got to just kind of combine a few of them to kind of get them out quicker. I take L's a lot. Filming costs money. My staff costs money. The building that we're in right now costs money. All my equipment, salaries. All my employees have health insurance. That's something that we started recently. Actually, a few months ago, we now have free health insurance, dental, vision, and life insurance for all of our employees.
Nice.
Right, Kevin? Speak up.
Yeah. You said speak up. You can speak now.
He's like nodding. That's why he's like nodding. They can't hear the nod.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the biggest topic right now on Vlad TV. On September 28th, 2019.
Yes.
I was hanging out at home, and I started thinking about reparations.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, like, damn, the Jews got reparations. The Japanese got reparations. Native Americans got reparations. How in the hell, in 2019, do the descendants of slaves in America not get reparations? It makes no sense. Try to kidnap somebody and make them work for even a month and see, and you're let's say a corporation kidnaps a human being and puts them into forced labor for a month, and that person escapes and files a lawsuit. Imagine the type of money they'll get from that corporation by doing that. And yet you literally had millions of people in this country stolen, forced into, forced work conditions, raped, beaten, murdered,
tortured.
Yeah.
Like, because the forced labor is not even the half of it.
Yeah.
That's not even the half of it. And, I mean, I'll let you finish what you're saying, but, my whole thing about this reparations is the shit that was done to us. Is there really any amount of money that can pay for that?
No. None.
Like, if I was to take your wife and she was pregnant and stick a bayonet into her stomach, pull the baby out in front of you, and then shoot it and shoot her, how much money is that worth?
No. There's no amount of money.
If I was to take your children and separate them and send one to a next state and another one to another state,
and you'll never see him again.
And you never see him again, how much money is that worth?
Yeah.
Like, so the fact that we're even trying to put a monetary price tag on horror is a little crazy to me.
Yeah, but that's the basis of the judicial system when it comes to civil lawsuits, is that there's something called punitive damages.
Okay.
Which means, well, there's two different types of damages when it comes to lawsuits. There is, so there's, when you do a lawsuit, when you sue somebody, you're eligible for two different types of damages: punitive and compensatory.
Mm-hmm.
Compensatory means how much money to make you whole again. So let's just say...
And you can never be whole for all the things I just said.
I understand.
Go ahead.
I'm just laying out how the legal system works, right? Not to say it's right or wrong. I'm just laying out how it works. So let's just say that I hit you in the leg with a stick and I broke your leg and you're out of work for a year. Well, if your salary is $100,000 a year, compensatory damage would be $100,000 because during that year you could not work because of
Plus
something
my
I did.
doctor bills.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So plus the doctor bills. Yeah, the doctor bills, missing work. Here's $120,000 to cover all that. That covers the compensatory damage. Then
And I might need some for my sadness.
well,
sad
that's
that
different,
whole
right?
time.
So then there's punitive damage, which means to punish. So that means how much money will it take for you to not want to do it again because of the amount of money that you paid as a punishment. So let's just say if you're worth $100 million, $1,000 is not going to punish you very, very much, right? But if you're worth $100 million, $20 million will definitely punish you.
Right.
And it's not designed to bankrupt you. It's not, if you're worth $100 million, they're not going to make you give up $1 billion. It's not supposed to completely ruin you, but it's supposed to hit you in your pockets to the point where you don't want to do it again because you're like,
You
shit.
sure it's not supposed to bankrupt you?
No, it's not. The way the laws are set up, no.
So when OJ got found guilty in his civil shit for however many millions that was, they wasn't trying to bankrupt that motherfucker? Because I don't even think he had that money. He didn't have that much money.
I think he had that money. I think that's the whole point. They look at your total financial makeup, and then they take a percentage of that. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, OJ was a big deal, man.
Okay.
OJ was worth a lot.
Yeah, okay.
He was a movie star. He was doing commercials.
Yeah, but that was like
he was signing autographs. Like he was a big deal, and he had property and everything else like that. He was worth a lot.
All right.
He was worth a lot. It wasn't like they told Ron Goldman you get $1 billion. It was like a few million, right? Which he never got.
Okay. So yeah, I thought it was like 35 million or something.
Let's
like that.
see.
But anyway,
OJ civil case.
So wait, just to
25. Okay, so 25 million in punitive damages,
which is a lot of fucking money.
which is a lot.
I feel like they was trying to bankrupt him on that. But,
possibly.
So
Yeah,
what you're saying, I'm not sure if that's a fact.
possibly. It was also a double murder, so it's kind of like.
Who cares? They're not supposed to bankrupt you, right? They're supposed to penalize you.
Actually, I think it's 58 million wrongful death damages. Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe we were trying to. Yeah, 58 million.
Bro.
Yeah, OJ may not have been worth that much.
Come
All right,
on.
so there you go. Okay, so September 28th, 2019 at 11:02 a.m., I tweeted, "I fully support reparations for African Americans, possibly in the form of a free college education. Over time, I have upset a lot of groups, a lot of hives on Twitter.
Right.
Me and Kobe Bryant went back and forth, and all the Kobe fans attacked me afterwards. Kobe's one of the most famous people on earth, one of the greatest athletes to ever live. Expected. At one point, I was trolling Michael Jackson a little bit. I did a tweet where I said, after watching Neverland, does the song Pretty Young Thing have a slightly different connotation? Michael Jackson's nephew, named Todd Jackson, personally responded his disapproval with me, and we kind of went back and forth a little bit, but all the Michael Jackson fans were attacking me.
Right.
All that paled in comparison to the response I got from a group I had never heard of before called ADOS.
Right.
American Descendants of Slaves.
Right.
Thousands of responses, including a response from Antonio Moore, aka Tone Talks, who was, I guess, one of the founders of ADOS.
I didn't know Tone Talks was one of the founders of, because I actually used to watch some of his videos.
Yeah, we had actually put up some of his videos. I remember when Jay Morrison introduced his Tulsa Real Estate Fund, he actually
He
did
had a lot of like financial type
yeah.
of videos.
Well,
he
has a law degree from UCLA.
Something, yeah. Okay.
He's an educated guy, and he said that he sees a problem in what in the way this is structured with the fees and everything else like that, and people looking at it as a traditional investment when he feels it is not.
Right.
And we posted that because I had my questions about that as well. So I felt we were sort of aligned up until this point.
No.
And hold on a second. There's actually two kind of founders of ADOS. There's Antonio Moore and there is Yvette Carnell.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about Yvette a little bit later because there's some interesting information about her. So, you being my friend and the most regular guest on the show, essentially, I assume that you would get barraged with people hitting you about this.
Absolutely.
Which you did.
Absolutely.
They're like, yo, you need to talk to your boy Vlad. You know what I mean? He bugging the fuck out. He's feeling too comfortable within our culture to comment on certain shit.
Right.
You see, and I think that's the biggest thing that people have about it. Why do you, as a Jewish white man, feel that you have even any kind of say-so in the matter that pertains to us as black people, especially when what you suggested is far from the tangibles that were received by your very own group. This is...
State of Israel.
Huh?
Talking about the state of Israel getting reparations from Germany.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. Let me just point out real quick. I personally, because look how much money you got. I have not received a penny in reparations.
but yeah, that doesn't matter.
Not even a penny.
Not
Right.
personally.
Not personally. I personally have not gotten anything.
You as a Jew, you are Jewish, yes.
Yes, I'm Jewish. Fellow Jews who
Right.
live in Israel
got
got
money
reparations
for
Yes.
what they
Yes.
went through.
Right.
Okay.
And on that point, I was going to kind of group all these together, but since you mentioned it, I just want to point out a very important difference in these two situations. Germany did not say, hey, we've decided to give the Jewish people all these millions of dollars because we feel so bad about all the Jews that we've killed. They lost World War II. And they were told by the rest of the world how much they're going to cough up. And it was not up to them. You think they would have given the Jews anything? They would have probably even denied it. Think about that for a second.
So, and that's deep, because
It's
why
deep.
does not the rest of the world, they know what America has done
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
black people in this country, original people in this country,
Yeah.
the natives of this country. They know what the fuck they've done.
Right.
So why they don't come clamoring the same way
Right.
and make America pay the same way that
Right.
they made Germany pay?
Right. If there was an international outcry, like a United Nations outcry, where all the rest of the countries were saying, look, America, you got to pay this. You know what you did. You got to admit to it. You got to pay it. Or else we're going to have sanctions against your country.
Right. That's what fucking needs to happen.
That's what happened with Germany.
Right.
Just so you know. So it's hard to compare these two situations just because of that very important fact.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I understand those are the
Right.
particulars.
Yeah.
The generalization, we can't, we're not going to get necessarily.
Right.
It's not going to be apples and oranges. It's not going to be exact.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
absolutely.
But the
I was
fact
just, yeah,
that,
I was just saying that had Germany had its own choice as to what to do, chances are the reparations would have been zero.
Right, and most of
and
the time, yes.
and a go fuck yourself on top of that.
motherfuckers, yeah, and basically how
You know,
America
right.
is towards its
Exactly.
its former
Exactly.
slaves.
So don't look at Germany as this great compassionate country that wants to help the
nobody's
people
looking
that are
at
hurt.
Germany
yeah.
as that. What they're looking at is The Jews went through some shit,
Yeah.
and they were compensated. That's just the general of it.
Absolutely.
And black people went through some shit much worse.
Much worse.
For a much longer time.
I agree.
And a lot of people feel that compensation should be received. Now, how that compensation should be received is up for debate amongst
Yes.
a lot of people. This is a hot topic amongst black people, amongst original people already. And it is causing some divide because you have people that consider themselves ADOS, which are American descendants of slaves.
Yes.
You know, ignoring maybe Caribbean descendants of slaves. Or, you know, people that were in the Americas, but not necessarily in North America. You see? So
Yeah.
some of these people feel like only those in North America.
Well, America itself. Right.
Right.
Because
But there's
Canada,
North
Canada's,
America, right, but there's Canada is part of America.
right. But yeah, but
Technically.
we're not going to give reparations to Canadians.
Right.
See what
but
I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
That's
yeah.
That's Canada's issue.
Okay.
Canada
but
can work it out.
I got
Did
you.
Canada have
So that's
slaves?
what they're saying,
Did
basically.
Canada, wait, real quick, did Canada have slaves?
Probably.
Let me look this up.
I don't
Did
know.
Canada
Probably.
have slavery? Hold on. Slavery remained legal, however, until the British Parliament Slavery Abolition Act. August, there were surviving slave cemeteries. Yep, Canada has slaves.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
You know?
probably not to the extent of America, because I think.
They had a hard time with the land and all that.
Yeah,
the land
yeah.
was very harsh. So for them to even
Right.
set up
And also,
themselves
yeah,
was
in the
hard.
South, hot climate, white people couldn't really work the land, so they had to bring in
And
people.
up there was cold
It
climate.
was cold climate, so there wasn't as much of a need for slavery. I mean, I know that sounds fucked up
No,
when I
there
say
was a
it.
need. They just couldn't
Yeah.
establish their own shit to make it
Yeah.
a system. Like, you
Exactly.
know what I mean? Like,
But yeah, but there was slavery in Canada.
yes.
But the U.S. is not responsible for that.
So,
That's Canada's problem.
but what I'm saying is, okay, let's just say your family wasn't on a plantation per se. That your family couldn't be traced back to a plantation, but you came here as a black person from another country while Jim Crow existed, and still suffered all the fucking racism that any other black person suffered. You might even got lynched or some shit like that. Somebody in your family got lynched, or you know, your job opportunities were not the same, or your housing opportunities, education, all of that was not the same.
Yeah.
Is that something that should be you see what I'm saying?
It's something to be debated. And
It's
you know,
something to be debated.
Right. And what about all the people that are white these days that have DNA from slave descendants, but they're essentially 95% white? Like, you know, what percentage of your
There is
DNA?
no, that's what I'm saying. Either you're black or you're white.
No, but there's certain, like, look, if you are,
Trust me. That's how the white people see it.
that's how the white people see it. But I know for a fact there's lots of white people out there right now who think they're just pure white. And once they do some DNA tests, they're going to find out they have some black in
Well,
them.
everybody has black in them because every people come
From
black
Africa.
people.
See,
So
that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of debate and so forth around it.
here's the thing. Yes, there's going to be a lot of debate around it. And most black people feel like that debate needs to be had amongst us. Why are other people publicly debating what we should and should not get? You understand what I'm saying?
I'll answer that.
Hang on. And especially something like when you say education. Like, to me, education, how is that even really quantifiable? You got one school like Harvard where it's like $100,000 a year. You got another where it's $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, like, who's to say? And, you know, to keep it really real, college is to create fucking more robots for this fucking machine that we call America. And is that necessarily helping us as a people advance forward just because we getting college educations. That's debatable in itself too. Because I feel like you're just creating more robots. You're creating more, well, I guess it was free, then you're not creating a debt slave in that sense.
You're not creating a debt slave.
You're still creating another fucking robot for the system, though.
I mean,
and again,
that's your opinion. I have a different opinion,
Right,
but
right.
I respect your opinion.
Right, but what I'm saying is
you
that-
yourself did not go to college, right?
No.
Right, and I went to college, so you and I are going to have different opinions on that,
Right.
and that's fair.
Right, but my daughter's in college.
There you
know
go.
What I mean? So
You clearly
I
think enough
understand
about college.
There's
Yeah.
a value in it, depending on what you want to do and all of that. But
Right.
everything has its pros and cons. My thing
Your
is,
your wife went to college also,
yes. My thing is,
and got a graduate degree, a law degree.
yes. My thing is though, let's flip this around. You know, forget Germany and all of that. Like when it was time for other people to get reparations, it was mainly the people who needed the reparations that were discussing what the reparations should be, and you see what I'm saying? It's being talked about amongst their own. I feel like if me as a black man, and I think we talked about this in other ways, because this kind of reminds me of the hip hop thing too, and I want to talk about that as well. If me as a black man, like let's just say I adopted Judaism, you know, they might say, okay, you're a Jew. Yeah, you study Judaism. But would I really have a say-so at the fucking temple? You see what I'm saying? Would I have a say-so for reparations? First of all, let's flip this again. Where is the counterpart in white culture? Like, where is the Vlad in white culture? Like, where is there a black guy who has like a dominant website in somebody's in white culture that deals with white culture?
I mean, this is a shitty example.
Go ahead.
And I'm gonna just preface it with it being a shitty example.
Okay, a shitty example.
And I do not want to be equated with this person.
Again, tell me.
But the first person that comes to mind, unfortunately,
Post Malone me. Go ahead.
is Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
A black person who is speaking in white culture
Right.
about black issues.
But no.
About white issues. And
That's
black
what I'm saying.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
she's talking about black issues in white culture. She's not talking.
Well, okay, okay. Yeah, that's a weird one. Like I said, I don't want to be equated with Candace Owens because
Right.
I really don't fuck with her. And I don't believe in the shit that she says. But, well, actually, if you talk about any black politician in government is talking and debating about white issues damn near every day. Any black, you think that every black politician only will talk about black issues in Congress? Come on.
No, you're right. You're right. there.
Come on.
But,
Especially when you have black politicians in predominantly white areas. You see what I'm saying?
But when do you have black politicians in predominantly white areas? You don't. You only have black politicians when there's black people in the area.
Okay, fair enough.
White people are not voting in black people.
Well, but you do have black politicians in mixed areas. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
like New Jersey,
right, New York.
you know,
but if you
New
go
York.
with strictly white areas, it's gonna be strictly white.
Yeah, I mean,
politicians.
even
because that's who they want talking for them.
Yeah.
You see? So now this kind of gets to my point.
yeah. I mean, for example, we just had
Is the constituency wants people that look like them talking
like
for them.
For example, Montgomery, Alabama elected its first black mayor in the city's 200-year history.
Right.
And there's a lot of white people in Montgomery, Alabama. Obviously, it's not just
Right, but there's a lot of black people too.
all black people as well. So that's what I'm saying.
Right, and there's been a lot of black people there, and despite that, there's
never
only
been,
now. That's how racist they are.
Very
and there's
racist.
only now been a black
Right.
politician.
Exactly.
Whereas I'm talking if it's all white,
Yeah.
there ain't no black man gonna go in there and win.
Fair enough. But, for example, there's a black mayor in Chicago. Lori Lightfoot, I think.
Right.
You know, is a black. She's also a lesbian as well, like a gay black female. You know, who's yes, Chicago has a big black population, but also have a huge white population. See what I'm saying? So she's talking about white issues all day long. It happens all the time.
So why? So I guess the question is,
Yes.
Why do you feel comfortable enough to talk about an issue like that, especially an issue that's a hotbed amongst our people? Why do you feel comfortable enough to add your 2 cents into the ether?
Sure.
Of something that we've and give a what was your what do we want to call it?
Suggestions.
Your suggestion was something that we don't really see as a tangible.
Yeah.
Because I see tangibles as land or, you know, some people say money. I don't necessarily agree with just everybody getting money.
Yeah.
But, you know, let's speak on that.
Well, sure. Well, number one, the purpose of that tweet was this. Me suggesting anything has almost a zero effect in terms of the final solution. I am not on any government boards. I'm not making any decisions. I am not writing any checks. I am simply giving an opinion. And I use the word possibly. There's lots of videos out there that say, you know, there's like dozens of videos that are created. DJ Vlad said that blacks only deserve an education.
And I noticed the word possibly.
I never said deserve. I never said only deserve.
Right.
I said the word possibly. I thought this out before I tweeted.
Right.
The word possibly means, here's a suggestion.
Maybe it's this.
Maybe it's this.
Right.
And on multiple interviews, I've said, I do believe that African Americans should get money. I do believe they should get land. I do believe they should get tax breaks. I believe all the above. I do believe they should get like loopholes like the Native Americans where they could get land,
be taxed,
and do casinos and create a whole like a little legal loophole for them to create money over time. I believe all this, but education was something that I believe in a lot. So I said possibly education without excluding anything else. Now, to answer your question, reparations right now is not maybe a hot topic for certain people, but in terms of the US population, 70% of people are against reparations.
Okay.
Which includes the 15% of African Americans who are for reparations. So you take that 15% out of the equation and you see that 80% of non-blacks in the US don't want reparations.
Which is the fuck you.
The fuck you
that we
deal
were saying,
with.
and unless the world
Exactly.
forces you to do
Exactly.
this shit, you're probably not going to do it.
My point was, in order to have this be on the forefront in Congress and so forth, have it be discussed by the next president. Because let me tell you something, Trump commented on reparations. He said, it's an interesting idea, probably won't happen. So Trump is anti-reparations. So with this president, if he gets another term, y'all can forget about it. My point in bringing this up is that by bringing up a discussion and raising up the discussion and creating more talking around it, that could possibly bubble up and it could become a political issue. It could become something that someone's forced to talk about it. And at the end of the day, for laws to pass, it has to become a talking point amongst everybody. Yes, the Japanese got together and so forth, you know, with government officials who were probably white during that time, because we're talking about, was it the 50s, the 40s, something like that, you know, the internment camps. Everyone in the U.S. was talking about it during that time. Everyone was talking about Native American reparations. It was a discussion amongst white people, Asian people, black people, and so forth. And ultimately, Congress and the president decided how these reparations were going to go based on what the people were saying. You cannot exclude this talk to only a certain group of people, because those certain group of people are not the ones that are going to be passing the laws throughout. This has to become a national discussion, which means that everyone has to talk about it. And as a U.S. citizen who has paid a lot of taxes over the years, I have the right to talk about it just like an Asian person is allowed to talk about it, as a Spanish person is allowed to talk about it, as an Indian person is allowed to talk about it. Everyone has to talk about it. To say that you need to shut up and not say anything is ridiculous. And Tone Talks responded to a Godfrey interview. I said, well, Vlad is a Ukrainian immigrant. I would not think that I would have the right to speak on Ukrainian, topics. So therefore, he should not speak about topics of my people. Well, let me tell you something. If you're talking about Trump's impeachment, you're talking about Ukrainian topics right now. Okay? Because let me tell you, the Ukraine is all mixed into that shit. And I bet you in the Ukraine, Trump's impeachment is probably the number one topic on everyone's lips right now. Should they shut the fuck up also because they're not American? Come on, cut it out. Everyone is allowed to talk about it. Everyone is allowed to give an opinion. But here's the thing that really just blows my mind more than anything else, is I am for reparations. I'm an ally. I'm for the same thing that you claim to be for also. Okay, Vlad.
You're just not sure what form it should take.
And
that was
one
your
of the forms that
suggestion.
Yes, and one of my suggestions is not a bad thing. I didn't say I want reparations in the form of liquor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they should be able to,
weed.
Yeah, everyone should get 20 pounds of weed. And then that's like, you know what I mean? Like everyone, because here's the thing, like the Japanese got $20,000 in reparations. Okay, you raise that up, maybe that's worth $100,000 a day. Okay, cool. $100,000 a person is not going to change the situation.
What did the Japanese get for Hiroshima?
Probably nothing.
I think they got some.
I don't think so. That was war.
Yeah, but I
still
think they got help after that.
Maybe.
Yeah, they got some help building the infrastructure back.
Man,
Trust me.
Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. The U.S. is probably like, all right, well, fuck you too. Take this. Think about that. That was an unprovoked attack.
That atomic bomb was like way worse.
Way worse
than Pearl Harbor. It was like, they still fucked up right now. People got 4 arms right now from that shit.
Right, but if you punch someone in the face and they stab you, what are you going to be? Oh, why'd you stab me? I just punch you. Like, when it comes to shit like that, this is what happened.
I mean.
You know what I mean? You started it. I was minding my own business. You go and slap me. We weren't even attacking Japan at that point. They decided to send a bunch of planes over to killed hundreds of people. So I'm not justifying. I'm not saying, yeah, that's what they get. I'm just saying that during wartime, you do this type of shit and worse shit happens. Because in fact, Hiroshima didn't actually cause most of the deaths. It was fire bombs. The U.S. was just dropping fire bombs in these cities that was just burning everyone up. That's what caused most of the deaths. Hiroshima was just more spectacular. It was more like, oh my God, the fuck is this type of thing? But yeah, back to my point. I absolutely have the right to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to raise the issue, and I hope more white people talk about it. I hope more.
See, that's what I feel is white people's job, is to actually go to other white people and convince them to abandon a lot of their former ways.
Right. And I have a very large white following. I have a large black following, which is probably my core, but best believe millions of white people watch VladTV.
Absolutely.
Because millions of white people are hip-hop fans. Just is what it is.
Absolutely.
But I just want to say, and this is the thing that I don't get, which is what makes me question the underlying purpose of the people who are running ADOS, is that, okay, look, they support reparations. Here's this guy named Vlad that says he supports reparations in the form of education. All right, cool. Well, we don't want to focus on education. We want to focus on land, but education, cool too. Okay, well, here comes Philip Kweli. He's for reparations also, but he feels reparations should be in this type of way. Okay, cool. We're all on the same page. Let's all join forces together and fuck with each other and keep raising this, keep pressuring government and keep getting more people involved. That's not what happened. Fuck Vlad, shut up. You know how many shut your mouth, sit down, whatever I've gotten? Same thing with Talib.
People don't like you personally. Like, I feel like a lot of people just don't like Vlad. Like, there's a lot of shit that if somebody else did it, it's okay.
Well, what about Talib? Talib Kweli. Do people not like Talib Kweli either? Let me tell you, and this interview is not out yet. So, and this will come out later. And this was the funny part, because I remember me and Killer Mike were talking about this, right? After our interview. And we were talking about the whole Talib Kweli thing. And he goes, well, Talib Kweli was a Haitian immigrant, right? And the funny part is that when he got into it with the Ados people, on 5 different occasions, they changed his Wikipedia page to say that he was born in Haiti.
We get into it. Me and Breaking Brown, Yvette Carnell get into it. That's par for the course. I get into it with a lot of people, but this is what's strange that happened. When I got into it with her, that onslaught of ADOS people came, and the argument wasn't about reparations. The argument became about immigration. Yvette Carnell found an article in which my mother talks about growing up in Brooklyn around a lot of Haitian people and how white people in her community valued people from the Caribbean over native-born Black Americans, right? So she went to a school to try to get into school, and the school asked her, are you Haitian? And my mother talks about this in this article to just talk about how white supremacy tries to divide Black communities. Yvette Carnell took this article and framed it in a way to say that my mother was pretending to be Haitian. That lie became a lie that Kweli is Haitian. So now the argument is no longer about reparations. Now they're all coming at me like, you're a Haitian immigrant. Go back to Haiti.
Okay, so is your family Haitian?
Not at all.
Oh, shit.
Talib Kweli was not born in Haiti.
Right.
Talib Kweli's family was not born in Haiti. He has absolutely no Haitian connections at all.
Oh, wow.
Then they try to say that his grandfather was born in like St. Lucia or St. Croix or something. No, he was born in Harlem Hospital. His parents are both professors. There is no Caribbean anything. But yet, even someone as smart as Killer Mike, because of the war, you know, all the Ados energy and everything else like that, they think this is a Haitian guy who shouldn't be speaking about it either. But in fact, this guy, Talib's been pro reparations the whole time. He mentioned it in his raps.
I mean,
You know, he was raised by educated Black parents who are Pan-Africanists. He's totally pro reparations, and they attack him just as bad as they do me.
I mean, for the record, I'd love if we got some sort of reparations. I just don't know what form it comes in. Yeah. And again, how do you repair some of the atrocities that happen? Like, I don't even know a number to start at. Like, I hear trillions and shit. I feel like that's not even enough. Like, trillions? Like, for ripping babies out of stomachs?
Yeah.
For littering trees? You know, for like with bodies and shit like that? Like, hang it. Come on, yo. Like,
right. Well,
for raping men and women?
I mean, look, there is no dollar amount for any of that stuff, right? But I think that what the purpose of reparations is to take a group of people that have been systematically disadvantaged,
to this very day,
and try to put them in a place where, as a group, they could have the same opportunities as every other U.S. citizen. And that's why I felt education was a good starting point, because over the lifetime of a typical American, you will make $1 million more through the course of your life with a college education than with a high school education. Now, people are going to say, oh, that's bullshit. I know people, whatever. I've hired probably 100 people over the course of VladTV, you know, being in business. And the first thing I look for when looking at a resume is where they went to college. And also what college they went to. And also what they majored in. And sometimes their GPA and so forth. And that's how we usually start their conversations. Having college.
So what's impressed? So if they went to a very white, expensive school, they went to Harvard, that's impressive, right?
Yeah, or if they went to Howard, it's impressive. In fact,
Which is more impressive to you, Harvard or Howard? Tell the truth.
Probably Harvard. But in the ranking, Harvard is a higher university.
Why? Is it really better? You see what I'm saying? That's where the bullshit comes into. That's where the sliding scale comes into. And, you know, if let's just say your plan was adopted, what schools are going to adopt this? All schools?
Well, it's not going to be adopted by the schools. It's going to be adopted by the government. The government's going to pay the schools.
Okay, so the government, so then they're going to pay for whatever fucking school we want to go to then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
whatever
there's
school,
still going to be some racism involved where these schools, especially the Harvards and the Yales and the, you know, all those type of schools, are going to find loopholes to not have to include these motherfuckers.
I mean, every school has applications, and you still have to compete with everyone else who's applying. Just because you have free tuition doesn't mean you're going to get in. At the end of the day, you have to have the grades and the test scores to get into a Harvard or to get into a Howard. My old assistant, who was with me for 5 years, went to Howard, and he was great at what he did. I would absolutely hire someone from an HBCU. In fact, my new assistant, who's probably coming in, he went from a top HBCU as well. Like, I very much respect HBCUs. I've also had people that worked for me that went to Yale. I mean, went to went to Columbia. So I respect schools all across the board. And once you look at education, it could really, you know, because people are like, oh, my grandmother is 80 years old and, you know, she's not going to benefit from this. Well, number one, it's not designed to help the people right now. It's designed to help future generations, right?
Right.
Future generations.
Do we as black people want future generations to always just keep getting co-opted by these other, we're going to work for other people and all this type of shit. I mean, are we using this education to do something for ourselves? And I just, you know.
I think when you look at most millionaires in this country, most successful people, you look at the percentage of them that went to college, it's probably about 95%. Yes, there's the entertainers and so forth, you know. I mean, the athletes all have college educations if they went all 4 years. But when you look at, unless you take out the entertainers and the YouTube celebrities or whatever else, you look at most people, whether they start their own company or whether they work for a corporation, the CEOs, whatever else, who are technically still working for people, but they're CEOs. They all went to college. When you look at like all the billionaires, all the black billionaires, damn near all of them went to college. Like,
nah, man, you hear a lot of stories about billionaires that didn't go to fucking college.
You have people, what I mean? Yes, you have people who dropped out of school. They're already going to Harvard, but if you look at their background, they're already taking college level courses in high school. So technically, they had a college education already by the time they got there. Look, we can agree to disagree. My whole point is there's lots of ways to look at it. It could also mean if you know, let's just say reparations passed today, it could mean that everyone who's got college loan could get it forgiven. Or they could go and get a graduate degree for free. There's lots of different ways to look at it.
A lot of things combined. Like, we're not going to just leave it at this college shit.
No, which is why I said possibly.
Yeah, be that combined with tax, combined with land, combined with a whole bunch of shit.
Sure.
That it needs to be.
I'm all for that. I just know that college is an easier sell for everyone, for the country. And if we want to have this passed in our lifetime, you focus on college, you have more of a chance of it to go through. Now you could say, fuck it, I'll wait 200 years for this to be done, right? Cool. You'll be dead by the time it happens. Maybe you're okay with that. That's cool. But in terms of our lifetime, I felt that college was probably the best overall choice because it's already happening. Georgetown University is already offering free tuition to the descendants of the slaves that they were involved in. A couple other schools are passing, like they're raising their tuition in order to give money back to, you know, for slavery and so forth like that. Like, it's already happening. But my whole thing is, why on earth is Ados attacking me when I am on their side, essentially? It seems ridiculous. And now this Talib Kweli interview is not out yet, but according to him, because he's dealt with them, he's essentially an enemy to Ados, even though he is pro-reparations. He pointed out a couple of interesting things. Ados is two people. You know, the founders of Ados is Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell. There's pictures of Yvette wearing a MAGA hat.
You know, I think I heard about this.
I've seen the picture.
Yeah.
They took the video down,
Right.
but there's a picture of her in a MAGA hat.
And she's on some real anti-Mexican, like, immigration.
Anti-immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Ados is anti-immigrant because they feel somehow the immigrants are going to not allow them to get what it is that they want.
Mm-hmm.
According to Talib, he feels that the underlying mission of Ados is really to try to split the black vote so Trump could get elected again. And he's brought up interesting points how white supremacist groups support Ados. They're aligned with Ados.
You know, I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, ever since I was hearing about this whole Ados, from the minute I heard about it, it was like a division.
Yeah.
Amongst black people.
Yeah.
It was a division. It seemed like some sort of, well, you're not American enough. Like, what's your lineage? We had a conversation about reparations and all this a while ago on the Godcast, and Ados came up, and you had some people. Well, I don't think Lord Jamar's Ados anyway, so he's not going.
Are you Ados?
Here's the thing. On my father's side, no. Okay, we trace back to Guyana.
Okay. So you're Caribbean then.
South American, yes.
Oh, Guyana's not
it's
Caribbean?
It's a Caribbean. It's in South America, but it's considered Caribbean in a way.
Got it.
It's one of the
because whenever I go
South
to
American
the West Indian Day Parade, I think pretty sure I see Guyana flags flying around.
Yeah, South America.
Right.
Just like you might see Honduras or something like but that's all in South America. So anyway, now my mother is adopted, so I don't know her. I still got to do some research on you know what I mean? I actually discovered one side of her father. Now I got to trace where his family's from, but I did the trace on my father's side. So on that side, no, I'm not Ados. It's possible I'm on my mother's side I am. But see, again, that's some bullshit.
Right, so according to Ados, you need to shut the fuck up.
Or I might be hating on it because, well, I ain't going to get nothing.
Right.
If we did get reparations, I'm not going to get nothing. So, why would I care? Some shit like that. Here's the thing. Even if I did not get nothing, if I wasn't to get anything personally, I still would want to see my people as a whole, get something. Yes. So that shit is out the window. My thing is, there was a lot of suffering done by all of us at different times in America. I don't give a fuck if you got to America 5 years ago from whatever fucking country. If you black, you're going to suffer some bullshit that is specifically tailored to this American experience. Mm-hmm. I just read an article, right, about Boston, right, about the average net worth or something like that of black people or black families. I think it was black people, black families. It was $8. Meaning that these people owed just as much as things that they own, like a car and a home. They owed more, and it was like something like $8.
Here we go. I found it.
Yeah.
It said that was not a, hold on. That was no typo. The median net worth of black Bostonians is really $8.
And and for white Bostonians, it was like, say it, like $250 or some shit like that. 250,000 or 25,000, something like that.
$247,500.
$247,500 compared to $8.
Yeah, $12,000 for Caribbean blacks, $3,000 for Puerto Ricans, and $0 for Dominicans. That's not a typo either, they said. $0. Dominicans ain't worth nothing in Boston. The fuck? I mean, I don't know how these numbers come together, but it's a strange.
Now that's just Boston.
Yeah.
But do you see that has nothing to do, and that's just black people. Now they said they broke it down with Caribbean and all that too. And what they say Caribbean's net worth was?
$3,020.
$3,000. So they're gonna say that in Ados is even worse. Like
$8.
First of all, yeah, I don't know. It could be some divide and conquer. Because first of all, this whole tracing your history back to slavery is very difficult. Like, a lot of motherfuckers, like, the records weren't that great. And guess who has most of the slave records that has monopolized them and procured them? Do you know?
No.
You don't know?
Ancestry.com? Or?
Yeah, but guess who owns Ancestry.com? And not just Ancestry, but if you look where Ancestry is located at, it's in Utah. The Mormons.
Okay.
The Mormons, for some reason, gathered up all the slave records. And if you want to document where you're from, and you want to really look at, you got to go to Utah. Look that up.
No, I believe you.
Look it up.
It sounds right.
You got to go to Utah. What the fuck's that all about?
Yeah.
What is that all about?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, Talib, you might be onto something here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get in no beef with these Ados people and all this type of shit.
It don't matter to me. That's
but
fine.
Here's the thing.
Y'all can be mad at me. Go ahead.
They don't want you to speak about this, but when it comes to hip hop, white people could speak about shit all day.
Right. He even said, I think Tone even said, stick to talking about hip hop. Well, in that regard, should I shut up about that also? Because technically that's not my thing either, right?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying about whose house it is and all of that type of shit? Who has the right to say certain things at certain times?
At the end of the day, telling someone that they can't speak on something is fucking ignorant.
I mean,
telling someone that they can't have an opinion on something in America.
Oh, it happens to me all the time. Vlad.
Is ignorant.
All the time.
Is stupid, and I really expected more from what appears to be an intelligent man like Antonio Moore. Quite honestly, I'm a little disappointed. Someone who seems educated and seems smart from all the other interactions that I saw to say that I have no right to even speak on it. And me and him went back and forth, and after like the second interaction, he said, "Well, you're just blabbering or something like that." So I was like, okay, well, I guess you don't even want to do,
Now, you know me, okay? And I'm on my, you know what I mean? Black fist. I was not outraged like everybody else.
Yeah, he said, bro, you just rambling. Right? And to make an interesting point, because Killer Mike called me, he goes, listen, man, I think you should have Tone on your show. And I respect Mike. Mike is my friend. He's been on the show a few times. I said, well, okay. They know each other. I said, okay, send me his number. Send me his number. I hit him. You know what the response was? Nothing. So then he goes and comments on my Godfrey interview and just, Godfrey's a Nigerian immigrant. He should not be speaking about it. I said, hey, Antonio, if you want to, instead of commenting on all my videos,
right, just come on.
I said it publicly. You know what the response to that was?
Zero.
Nothing.
Right.
This is the whole, what's really the underlying point? I'm down to discuss it with him in person.
Right.
I could defend my point.
Just like you're down to discuss it with me in person. Like that's why it's like,
what are you really doing
I
here?
need to come here sometime so we can really, so motherfuckers can see, like, I'm not trying to treat you with no kid gloves and all of this type of shit. Like, I want to know just like, why do you feel comfortable? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I answered your question. And there you go. And I'm going to keep talking about it. No one's going to tell me to shut up.
I'm just saying.
Not on my platform.
I was going to say this a minute ago, like, I'm down with the get down, yet when I heard what you said, I wasn't outraged. Did I agree with it? No. Because, again, I don't believe in the education the way you believe in it. And I think it's a sliding scale. It's all about who's more prestigious and all of that. So it was hard to put a a thing on that. You know what I mean? I believe more in the land and you know, taxes and I don't know, a combination, a family of things. I don't have the whole reparations blueprint, but when I heard you say that, I wasn't as offended.
Why would you be? Because you're pro reparations just like me. Why would you be offended at someone else being pro reparations?
Like
That's
else.
stupid.
And then it's funny when like people almost try to like convince you to be offended. Like, come on, Lord Jamar, like you should be offended. I know that's your man, but fuck that.
I was called a
offended.
I was called a white supremacist over and over again. A white guy supporting reparations is being called a white supremacist. Along with the culture vultures and the devil and evil and whatever else. And no black entertainer needs to ever go on my platform and cancel VladTV and blah, 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 over and over again. All this bullshit that I can care less about. I think that the ultimate underlying goal of ADOS is not reparations.
Oh, and can I also say, I'm a descendant of kings and queens. I'm a descendant of gods and goddesses. I'm not a descendant of slaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because that's not where it starts.
Don't even...
Yeah. Me and Talib talked about this.
So I don't necessarily like that moniker, descendants of slaves.
Because that's not where your history
Because
starts.
that's almost putting a title upon yourself subconsciously.
Yeah, like a ceiling in a way. Well, you start out as a slave, so don't expect to get too far.
Right. And there's no, you know, come from kings and queens. That's all I'm saying. Like,
right. And, you know, when people say, you know, the biggest response was like, no, we need cash. We need cash. We need cash. We need cash.
So we can all buy Rolls Royces and fucking diamond fucking chains?
And here's why I have an issue with that, is that, you know, for example, the Native Americans, if they had just gotten a chunk of cash, I'm pretty sure they would be in the exact same place that they are now, that they were back then, right? They got land, which was not desirable land. It was land that, you know, was kind of on the outskirts.
Stop that bullshit too. We need desirable land,
right? But they were able to have a loophole which allowed them to put casinos on that land.
And first of all, casinos is not the answer to every fucking thing either.
It's not, because it's promoting more financial ruin, right?
And all of that type of shit.
But my point is that they're able to establish a type of business that can continue to make money decade after decade,
right?
Which is what ultimately rose them out of their financial ruin. Now, let's just say, okay, the Japanese got 20,000. So let's just say you turn around and say, okay, 20,000, $1945. Let's just say that's 100,000 now. You give every black person in America, you know, who's a descendant of a slave, $100,000. Do you think that 20 years from now, that money is still going to be creating wealth for that group of people? Or would that benefit that generation on a very short-term basis and then put everyone in the same place over again? Because
I believe the latter.
Yeah, because I'll tell you,
motherfuckers are gonna be tricking off.
Right, because I'll tell you, as I was having these, you know, doing these tweets and getting the response, I said, okay, let's just do a little poll. Would you rather, and I didn't say this is for reparations, I just brought up an example. I did a poll and I said, would you rather have, if you had a choice, would you take a free college education with a $100,000 value or $25,000 up front? 2/3 of the voters, and this was like thousands of votes, said $25,000 up front. Okay. You take an average 18-year-old of any race, black, white, Asian, I don't give a shit, and you give that 18-year-old $25,000. I don't care who you are or where you came from. You'll probably go buy a car. You'll probably go to the mall, buy some clothes. If there's some girl that you were eyeing, you'd probably spend it on her. A few months in, that money's going to be gone. $25,000.
$25,000?
Yeah.
A few months? It could be less than that.
A few weeks. Easy.
I know a motherfucker that could spend, I mean,
some
people
people
could spend that in a day.
In a day, exactly.
Yeah, easily.
$25,000 will not help you. You ask most educated people, most successful people, will they take $25,000 or a free college education? And they'll all say a free college education.
Every last one of them.
They say that again?
You ask a successful, and or educated person which one they would take, they would all say $100,000 free college education. All of them would say that. But most people would take $25,000 up front. So I'm just saying,
because somebody that's successful might take the $25,000 and invest it and make
no.
it flip
What I'm
the
saying,
same
but
way
if you
told Jason Weaver and all that type of shit,
right?
So
right,
knock it off.
So, but what I'm saying is that a chunk, unless you're talking about millions of dollars, anything that's like 5 to 6 to 5 digits.
Well, it should be millions of dollars.
It should be.
If it was a monetary thing, well, like I said, from the horrors that were suffered, each individual should be looking at.
No, I feel you.
A few million.
Right, but no one has ever gotten millions of dollars, and a group of people have never gotten millions of dollars where every individual
and never before has anything happened like this to people.
I feel you. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, and one more thing I want to say before we move on from this topic. Okay, so y'all was talking about Tone Talks. I want y'all to check out somebody named Dane Calloway.
Dane Calloway?
Look into Dane Calloway. Okay, because Dane Calloway, he has a lot of information about how this whole shit was told in reverse. Okay, where they say, oh, we came from Africa over here. No, a lot of us was already here, and then brought over here, and then and brought over to Africa, and motherfuckers, and then some of them was brought over here. Now, I say this to say, right now, reparations is what is, in negotiating terms, called pie in the sky. Okay?
Right.
Pie in the sky is something that you offer in a negotiation that's not real. It's something that comes down the road, maybe. Okay? Whenever you're dealing in negotiations, you never settle on pie in the sky. You never say, all right, I'll take this much now, and maybe in the future you're going to give me this. No, that's some bullshit negotiation. If anybody offers you pie in the sky, it's a bullshit. Now, what I'm saying is, by us not understanding that we actually are, that a lot of us were already here, we're missing out on money that already exists, that is only going to so-called Native Americans that have a certain mongoloid phenotype, okay? But not the Native Americans that look like me, or that look like a lot of our so-called brothers and sisters. So here we are fighting over something that doesn't even exist. Reparations for so-called descendants of slaves doesn't even exist. It's just a concept, and look at how y'all fighting over it. Yet, there's money that does exist right now, but because you don't know who the fuck you are, you're not even talking about that. So let that shit sink in.
Let that sink in. Yeah, man. And the people that have historically fought for reparations, like Reverend Mark Thompson and Danny Glover and so forth, get attacked by ADOS. You see what I'm saying? Like, what type of weird, divisive shit? You're spending most of your attacks against the people who are for the thing you're claiming to be.
And like I said before, we all suffering from racism in America. I mean, maybe if you could prove that you was a descendant of slaves, maybe you'd get a little more, but don't tell me because I'm from the Caribbean and came to America in the 50s that I didn't go through redlining and fucking, police brutality and all kind of shit, forced it together, all kind of shit that motherfuckers go through. Being black in this country, they're not stopped. The police, when they kill black people, they're not asking who's ADOS.
Right.
They're not asking who's Muslim, Christian, none of that.
Yeah.
You black, I'm going to be more apt to shoot your motherfucking ass than I am of a white man. And I just saw a video of a white guy chasing 2 officers with like a fucking sword or
I
some
saw
shit,
that, yeah.
telling the police to put down their batons,
And they were backing up.
and they were backing up.
Yeah, that was
He's
crazy.
swinging shit at them and all that. This nigga didn't get shot. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Caribbeans, rest in peace to Louis Rankin.
Louis Rankin.
Done.
Rest in peace.
You gone too far.
The Raptures.
I am the original Jamaican Dun Dada.
Me kill pussy all for fun.
I met him once during my DJ days. He came to this reggae studio I was working out of, and he did some drops for me. I'm not sure if I still have them or not. Man, like, the thing about Louis Rankin, right? This is not traditionally the most handsome, attractive man, but you cannot tell him he was not the flyest dude in the room.
But like, look how you're smiling and I'm smiling. Like,
Yeah.
something about Louis Rankin makes you smile.
Makes you smile.
Like he just had this infectious energy and personality, and like you said, you can't tell him he wasn't the most handsome man in the fucking room.
Man, he had his jewelry on and his Versace, the flyest clothes and the confidence and all that. And this man has not had like a hit song in like 30 years or whatever. Like, but yet he reinvented himself. Didn't even have a lot of acting roles. Really, Shatas
and
Belly. And Belly was really the 2 roles I've ever seen him in, honestly. And yet he was always fresh.
Lennox.
Yeah.
Teddy Brookshot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
he was always fresh.
He was always fresh.
Here's the thing, and he was a real dude. Like, I'm hearing stories about, like, yo, I seen Louis Rankin one night walking up Nostrand Avenue by himself, like, with his jewels on and all that type of shit.
Yeah, no, we were in deep Brooklyn. Remember I was telling you, Utica and Avenue D? That's where we met up. With this is like, there's no freeways around there.
Right.
Deep Caribbean Brooklyn. Like, yeah, man. And he died in a car accident. And I've said this before, but I want to say it again. I don't know the specifics, but I bet you he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. For you to die in a car accident, you are not wearing a seatbelt. And people say, well, it's your time to die. It's your time to die. You got no say in it. Yeah, but I don't meet too many old people that never wear their seatbelts. All the old people I know, they buckle in. So
I ain't gonna front. I be wearing my seatbelt. And I even wear it in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like,
when I'm in Uber or...
I don't trust these. I don't know who the fuck you are, nigga.
Right.
You might make this shit flip over. Nah.
Yeah, look at...
strapped in.
Kevin Hart wasn't wearing a seatbelt. That's why he's all... I had heard his spine was poking through his back and all types of horrific type shit. Did you see what that car looked like?
Yeah.
Crazy. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Bombaclat. Yeah. For real. So man, just be safe out there. Just plan shit out. Don't YOLO your way through life.
So you mentioned Louis Rankin, so now I have to mention, because I mentioned both of these guys on my show because they both passed around the same time. I have to mention also Jimmy Spicer, Super Rhymes,
yeah.
He also passed away. I believe he had like brain cancer or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And he just recently passed away. And, again, that's somebody that makes me smile because Super Rhymes was such an influential record, that and Dollar Bill. But really, Super Rhymes, I had to be like, 11, 12 when that came out. And it was just like, it was the perfect record, like, to pull a kid into hip-hop. Like, you know what I mean? It was 14 minutes long. He's doing different voices. It's, Dracula's kind of comical, but it was fly. Like, Super Rhymes. I just want to say rest in peace to Jimmy Spicer.
Rest in peace, Super Rhymes. Rest in peace, Ox.
Lennox.
Yeah, man. My father just passed.
Yes. Condolences.
His funeral was on Friday. He passed last Monday. Life is Life is one of those things, man, where you only have a limited amount of time on this earth. Make it count.
Yeah.
Do something important. You will have an expiration date.
Right.
And
the thing about life, nobody gets out alive.
Nobody gets out alive.
Nobody gets out alive. And that's just, when you know that, you should live a quality life.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. If I were to pass later today, I would be happy with the life that I lived. I've accomplished the things I set out to do. I've made the impact I wanted to make. The work I put on this earth will continue to live on.
Were you a good person?
I was a good person.
You know what I mean?
I helped a lot of people.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you help to spread love? You know, are people gonna smile?
Yeah.
When you pass?
I think so.
You see? Try to be the type of person that when you pass, people smile when they think about you. How about that?
I think so. I think they will. Yes, I have a lot of haters and a lot of people that talk shit.
But the ones that know you.
The ones that know me, and at the end of the day, 3 million people a day do not tune in to watch my videos because they hate me.
Now, see, here's the thing. There could be at least 1 million that do.
Sure.
See, I used to think a lot of people, and remember this, all your followers are not people that fuck with you.
Yeah.
Some people are there to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You see? Like certain people, when I go to block them, because I have no problem with sending somebody to the block party.
Right.
When I go to block them, I'm like, this shit says follow back. I'm like, this motherfucker's following me?
Right.
Like the shit that you saying and you're following me? Like
crazy.
That's crazy. So you gotta understand, like, yeah, you might be getting a whole bunch of views, but not everybody that views you or follows you fucks with you.
That's okay.
I'm just saying.
That's okay.
So people get all, oh, I got 5 million on IG or however, you know, they be all happy about their numbers. I'm just letting you know, like, those are not all your fans. Like, keep that in mind. Like, some of them are there specifically to hate on you.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm just letting the record reflect.
A whole bunch of them love me, and that's okay.
Well, there you go.
And the thing is, I don't know any of them, so there's only so much connection that I can have. But let me tell you, all my regular guests, they all fuck with me, and I all fuck with them. You, Godfrey, John Sally. You know, we talked about Jason Weaver, who's a guest recently. Who else? BG Knockout, Trey D, D.L. Hughley. The list goes on and on. All very respected people, all very talented people. They all fuck with me. I all fuck with them. You know, Boosie. The list goes. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people. They all fuck with me. I fuck with them. We both enriched our lives, and I'm cool with that.
There you go.
But speaking of not so good people, Samuel Little
Udat
has been declared the deadliest serial killer
Oh, I saw this
in
bullshit.
U.S. history.
When I saw that, I said, look at this. I said, white people really needed, they was tired of being the serial killer kings, so they had to find some nigga to claim to be the biggest serial killer of all time.
He has confessed to 93 murders. And I saw a 60 Minutes special on him. He has this like weird photographic memory. He's actually described all of the actual murders along with pictures. He actually drew pictures.
Yeah, well, he has art, which I'm sure will probably sell to some sick fuckers.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But he actually drew pictures, and they're actually piecing together these murders based on his description, and they've all been like actually panning out. Like it's been matching up. I've never even heard of this guy.
I never heard of him either. I believe that he's a product of a white man's wet dream. That's where he came from. One night, a white man was dreaming, and he just was tired of the rap in comedies.
Damn you, Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, and the Ted Bundy. And all of these motherfuckers. And they said, damn, how come there's not really no black serial killers? We need to come up with a black.
There was that one freeway shooter. Remember that one guy?
Yeah, my man. But that was
a few murders. This guy is like
count those on one hand.
Right. This is 93, yo, and all women.
Yeah.
Mostly white women, I think, prostitutes and so forth. A lot of them seem like, based on the pictures I saw, most of them were white.
People that he felt were throwaways. Like
didn't have family. No one would have checked.
Right.
This was back in like the 60s and you know, before any sort of social media or cameras, you know, video cameras everywhere and so forth. He got away with a lot. And I guess at this point, he's already doing life in prison, so there's really no penalty for admitting to all these murders. They're not going to, triple life? Okay. They're not going to give him the death penalty.
But see, even with all the numbers that this guy might have, let's just say this is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't eating them,
right,
wearing their faces. You know, sick shit that a lot of white fucking killers would do. Having sex with them when they're dead and all that type of shit. Like, come on.
Okay.
Come on. But listen, if I keep it real, like we do be having serial killers in the hood. They just don't call them serial killers. Like there's dudes that got bodies, multiple bodies.
Well, let me tell you. Hold on.
We're not saying who they are. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll tell you who some of them are, because
there's people that. But I'm saying, like, in everybody's hood, there's probably that one dude that niggas know that this nigga got at least 6-7 bodies.
Well, let me tell you. Brian Glaze Gibbs.
That sounds familiar.
He was a gangster from Queens. He was like the hitman for Fat Cat.
Right. That's what I know. Yeah.
We're going to do an interview with him a couple days from now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him. He put out a documentary on Amazon, which you can watch right now.
Okay.
And in the documentary, he was talking about all these murders that he did. So I got on the phone with him just to kind of do a recap to see what it is we're going to talk about. And he shot this one woman, which he got acquitted for. And he pled guilty to 5 other murders in 2 attempts, which he ended up getting 8 years and 8 months for. Like a deal.
Now, hang on. Some people would ask, why would you want to interview him, Vlad? Why do you interview people like that, Vlad?
Mm-hmm.
Murderers and shit like that.
6 murders that I can count so far that he's admitting to. I've been asked this question lots of times. The reality is, humans, not just Americans, humans in general, have always and will always be fascinated with the outlaw. Anyone who lives outside the system, outside the laws, that makes their own laws and do what the hell they want, regardless of the consequences, there will always be fascination with these types of people. Billy the Kid is still a name that's known by damn near everyone today.
Right, but Billy the Kid was white. The problem is they feel like you're a white guy shining the light on these black criminals.
I've also interviewed Michael Franzese, the highest ranking member from the Italian mafia, who who ended up leaving the mafia and so forth.
Which I almost thought was weird for your channel in a way.
That's okay.
I was like, what's this guy doing here?
I've interviewed Boston George. The movie Blow was based on him, one of the biggest drug dealers in America during that time. I would more than happy interview white gangsters and criminals all day long. I'm trying to get Sammy the Bull right now. We were trying to get Donnie Brasco. Yeah. Okay. I'm down to interview all types of gangsters of any color. You know, white boy Rick, all these guys. Listen, I interview China Mac, who's a Chinese gangster. So get off this, I'm only trying to shine a light on black criminals.
I'm asking the questions that the people are asking.
That's okay, and I'm answering them. But the reality is that the foundation of VladTV is hip hop.
Right.
And what color is hip hop? You see what I'm saying?
And if we keep it real, what are the themes of hip hop? See, I feel like you cover a lot of the themes of hip hop, of what a lot of people talk about in hip hop.
And being a gangster is definitely a theme that has always pretty much been there. All the way from Schoolie D to 2020.
Yeah.
Gangster rap to NWA to Ice-T to Boogie Down Productions.
Right.
Their first album, you know, with Criminal Minded. and this is someone who's considered a conscious rapper these days.
Right. But then conscious rap is part of hip hop too.
Exactly.
Which is why
I'm
fucking here.
That's what it is.
Let's go.
Well, speaking of gangsters, El Chapo's son was arrested.
I heard.
And there was so much
violence
that they let him go.
What?
Yes.
No!
The Mexican government had to release him to protect its own citizens. Motherfuckers was riding around with rocket launchers and shit like that. Like
y'all got little Chapo? Oh, fuck no. Word. They let him go?
Like the whole world now is looking at Mexico sideways. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, y'all really gonna let the gangsters run your city like that? Like, the fuck?
Wow. Because I had just saw a headline where it said, you know, El Chapo's son captured, and I saw where it said, you know, mad violence broke out after that. But that was the last I saw. I didn't read the full article. I only saw the headline.
You go to Fox News right now, and it says, there's a headline that says, a Mexican president defends retreat of security forces, release of El Chapo's son.
So then why the fuck that ain't? Well, no, America had him.
Well, America has El Chapo, not El Chapo's son.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was going to say why they didn't do that for El Chapo, but America had him, so there was nothing they could do.
Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador defended the decision by security forces to retreat and subsequently release one of the sons of infamous drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman after his detainment sparked intense fighting in northern Mexico. At least 8 people were killed, more than 20 wounded when militarized police and National Guard members patrolling the northern city of Siluican, I'm sure I fucked that up, the capital of Mexico's Sinaloa state, were engaged by heavily armed gunmen on Thursday night.
Yo.
They let him go.
That's gangster as fuck. Yo,
imagine someone in the U.S. releasing
because
a drug dealer because his crew
was that ill.
I've never heard of this. Not in America. I've literally never heard of it. But yeah, the Mexican government let this guy go.
Movie shit.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was Freeway Ricky Ross, how we were talking about how the U.S. didn't find any money. All the billions of dollars that El Chapo was supposed to have, they didn't find any of it. And he's like, they found it. And I guess they haven't found a penny of his alleged billions of dollars that he made.
Well, it could all be hype. You know, a lot of times the stuff be hyped up bigger than what it is. I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Because the feds, you know, they'll take a kilo and say it was worth $200,000. You know, and it was a time that I could make $200,000 off of a kilo when I first started, but that was 50 years ago.
Right. They just didn't declare it. I remember, I'm not going to say who it is, but I remember I was friends with one of the guys that was stationed in Iraq that found Saddam Hussein. And they found him in a hole with just tons of cash. And he managed to, you know, everyone was just taking cash. You know, he managed to stash some of that cash for himself, and he brought it back. He managed to get it back in the U.S. I forgot how much it was. It was a chunk though. Like, I think close to 100,000 or something like that. Like, you know, you best believe whoever was finding his stashes was just. We found nothing, sir. Sorry.
Right. Nothing down here.
This is drug money. You know?
Why your ass look so fat?
Don't worry about it.
Nothing. I just got stung by a bee.
Yeah, well, that makes Mexico look bad, honestly.
Yeah, and that makes El Chapo's son look good.
Makes El Chapo look good.
That makes El Chapo's son, like, that's folklore. That's thing of legend.
Oh yeah.
Like that's gonna go down.
He's in legendary
That's
status.
legendary now.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be other drug dealers that aspire to be able to get that big to do shit like that.
Well, and this is why, when you look at like Narcos and stuff like that, like these series about drug dealers, and these stories about major drug dealers, all of their fear, the one thing that they all fear in terms of these drug lords is to get extradited to the U.S.
Because they know there's no fucking around there. There's no digging tunnels. There's no bribing.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, but there's not like, there's bribes, but there's not like that. Yeah, you can't get out of it.
I don't know.
Once you in jail, you in.
Did you watch Narcos on Netflix? Remember how Pablo Escobar turned himself in, but he had like the prison was a prison.
He made his own prison.
He made his own prison with all his homies. Girls was coming over. There was probably drugs there. He was still running his drug operation,
there, all of
killing people in the prison. Yeah, El Chapo got locked up in a Mexican prison. He tunneled his way out. But let me tell you, when he's in fucking Pelican Bay or wherever the fuck they got him now, you ain't tunneling shit.
And you could bribe people for little shit, but as far as getting out,
you're not getting out.
You're not getting.
You're not going to see.
Now you might get some extra little Debbies if you treat a motherfucker right. You know
some Twinkies, something. You're not
getting out of this motherfucker.
No, man. Imagine like the U.S. Big Meech got locked up, but BMF is out there, starts shooting cops, so they let Big Meech go. Imagine that.
But here's what I'm saying. By that happening, there might be some dudes that try some shit like this, get inspired by it. Like, you know what? Yo, if I get locked up, I want y'all the niggas to wild out like I'm El Chapo's son and make these niggas have to release me or some shit like that.
Yeah, but the reality, I remember I read a book by Monster Cody. He was like this A-Trey Crip, and he laid it out. He said, look, because the A-Trays were at war with the Rolling 60s. And he said, I don't care if 100 Rolling 60s guys roll in our block. We will sit there and shoot it out until we're all dead. If we're outnumbered 10-1, doesn't matter. One cop will roll through and we'll all scatter. No one wants to go up against the government, basically. No one wants to go against the police, which is backed by the National Guard, which is backed by the U.S. military. At the end of the day, if we gave back a major criminal to the streets, we would have failed as a country. And that's how Mexico's looking right now, as a failure.
Now, I've seen the police run, too, though, before.
Yeah.
In a shootout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they're humans.
Like a motherfucker got shot right in front of them, and like they was in the car, and then they just sped off.
Right.
Now, 2 minutes later, they came back with like 30 fucking cars.
Right.
But those police,
yeah.
And the dude that was bold enough to shoot this dude right in front of the fucking police, oh yeah, them police murked out. I was kind of like, okay, surprised. Like, oh shit, y'all supposed to be the police. You would think somebody shot, they're gonna get out with their guns and maybe they have a shootout and them motherfuckers, they was out.
Well, because it's just humans, man. No one wants to die.
But see, America's different too. Like you said, 8 people died and like 20 hurt. Mm-hmm. America would have been like, oh, is that it? Only 8 people died? 8? Please.
You sure it's not 8?
Who were they? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's what they want to know. Like 8 black people, 8 white people, like.
Yeah. Well, speaking of police shootings.
Oh, fuck.
Amber Geiger got 10 years.
Yeah, which is some bullshit.
Just some bullshit. It's somewhat low.
Right.
But then there's some next shit.
But what I think pissed people off, it feels like, okay, she got 10 years, the end. I don't think people would have made a huge deal out of it because 10 years is still a substantial amount of time.
Not really, though. Listen, if it was on the reverse, if Botham Jean walked into her fucking shit accidentally, do you think he would have got 10 years?
I feel you.
The prosecutor recommended 28 years.
Yeah.
How the fuck they come back with 10 years?
Well, I could tell you how they came back with 10 years.
Because they listened to the family and they said he was so forgiving that we believed that he would have forgiven her for killing him.
Yeah. Well,
he would have forgave that. Really?
Yeah, one of the jurors, actually a black female juror, said that from what they learned about Botham Jean or John? They're,
Probably Jean.
Yeah.
If he's St. Lucia, so I don't know.
yeah. They said that based on what they learned from his family and his religion and so forth, that they didn't think that he would have wanted her to get, 30 years in prison. And I mean, the reality is that his brother and father took the stand and said that she should not get a lot of time. The father said he hopes he can be friends with her. The brother went and hugged her. Then the fucking judge went and hugged her and gave her a Bible.
The bailiff was brushing
her hair. Yeah.
Stroking her hair.
A black female plaintiff at that.
Yes. Very mammy-ish.
Yeah.
Very mammy-ish.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a coon fest, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time you see a judge hug a murderer? I mean, really. I don't remember that ever happening.
And
I don't remember the
last
judge ever
time you saw a white person whose family member was killed by a black person go and hug the black person who killed their family member. Have you ever seen that?
I saw a post. It was an article, like a op-ed. That says an opinion piece that says something to the effect of, "White women's tears is America's drink of choice."
Touche.
A white woman with blondish hair
is their drink of choice, and they will drink that down and fucking feel so bad about it. Like, yeah, like the whole thing became more about what Amber Geiger was going through,
right,
rather than the fact that this man was murdered. Everybody's worried about this broad, this crying little fucking blonde hair bitch, and not the fact that she entered somebody else's domicile illegally, basically.
Yeah.
And shot him dead.
Yeah. And I remember my interview with Godfrey recently. Godfrey had to check me a little bit. And I don't mind admitting to things like this, because I was talking about how Tay-K's sister was upset that Tay-K got like 50 years for a murder and she got 10. And I'm like, yeah, but Tay-K did like a home invasion. Godfrey's like, oh, home invasion? Really? Kind of like what Amber Geiger did.
Exactly.
And I'm like, shit, you're right. Tay-K got 55 years for murder. And I guess Tay-K's sister is upset that Amber only got 10 years.
Only 10 years, and they get, because black lives.
But then
don't
again,
matter,
Tay-K did like a home invasion and killed someone, and it's a little bit.
Wait,
a
a
little
home
bit different.
invasion and killed someone.
Okay,
You
I
got
see,
50
I see what you're saying.
and she-
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
there you
fucked
go.
it. Same shit.
Same shit. Okay.
Same shit. You
Same
see,
shit.
that was
No,
that
no,
white
I
that
feel
kicked in on you. I get
Is
it.
that what happened?
You're white. You're
My
white.
white
See,
kicked
you know,
in.
you're white. So sometimes the white is gonna kick in. It kicked in.
Yeah, you're right. Like, that's your white speaking for you. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it was.
But here's the thing. Let me just show you how 10 years is bullshit. I got a cousin, okay, that he moved down to Atlanta and stuff when he was young. At 17, on his first offense, which nobody got hurt or nothing, some robbery shit, he got 10 years. Supposedly in Georgia, there's 10 crimes that can get you automatically 10 years.
Robbery is one of them.
And robbery is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So how the fuck he get 10 years for robbery and this woman gets 10 years for murder?
Yeah.
That don't add up.
Yeah, at one point, I think the judge even said that they should consider stand your ground.
Oh yeah, the Castleton doctrine.
Right, and I'm like, stand your ground in your own house? Like,
Right.
you're in your own
No,
ground.
no, she told them
Yeah.
when they were going to deliberate, don't forget the Castleton doctrine.
Yeah.
She said to the jury,
Yeah.
which is a stand your ground type of thing, but she wasn't standing no fucking ground.
She was on someone else's ground.
Exactly. But still,
Yeah.
they want to put that in your mind, like, to. Now, if your max is 10, you know this bitch could probably get out in like 3, right?
It's a state issue?
Huh?
It's a state? she was in state court, it wasn't federal. Because federal is
this
like
ain't no federal.
Yeah,
No,
so I'm saying so
yeah.
state. I think 50% you might be able to get out in 5.
Trust me, she
Throw in some good behavior and some
exactly
whatever.
and some white girl tears.
Right.
She's out in 3. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing, right? And you could say, well, she was intoxicated and she was confused, and this person came at her. All you got to say is this: if that door had opened, and there was an Asian woman on the other side of that door, I guarantee that Asian woman would not have been harmed in the least.
She'd have been like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Right.
The fact that it was a black man, and was he kind of a big guy?
bigger than her.
Bigger than her, yeah. Someone bigger than her, and he's black, and she's already scared
And
of
you're
him.
a police woman,
Yeah.
and the police seem to be exceptionally fearful of the black man.
Right.
Like the police, it's almost like they're training them to be exceptionally fearful of black men especially. So when she saw him, her what kicked in? Her training kicked in.
Pulled out a
Her
gun.
training to kill black people because these motherfuckers are race soldiers. That's what the fuck they are.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was also another black woman killed in her own home, I believe in Dallas, just recently.
Shot her through the window as she played video games. But this father said, I don't want no fucking hug from the motherfucker. I want to see him convicted, and I don't want a hug.
Yeah. As he should.
As he should.
And that cop is being charged with murder.
Yeah, he is, but now we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
What he gets.
But you know something? I will say, at the very least, a cop shooting someone for no fucking reason, getting 10 years, is a start in the right direction.
Yeah, but it's like at the same time.
It sends a message to all the cops out there.
Here's the thing, though.
Because usually it's just an acquittal.
Right.
Right.
But
the,
again.
the cops who Eric Garner, who strangled Eric Garner, nothing.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So now they making us feel like, well, at least you got this. All we looking for is equality.
Yeah.
On all fronts. I'm not saying give me a better. If I would have got 30 years for doing the same shit, this bitch should get 30 years. Whether she's a cop, whatever the fuck the kid with blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever the fuck, that's what we saying. So, yeah, it's a start, but it's like, that's what they try to make you settle for a lot of shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, we'll just be happy that she's convicted at all. Nah, fuck that. I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to leave it there.
That's a good point. You're right. You shouldn't be happy with something. You should be happy with what they should have gotten.
What you should have got, the
I
full
agree.
justice. Piece of it is cool. I mean, yeah, something is better than nothing. But I'm going for full justice, and full justice means equality.
I agree. Well, Tekashi has told on everyone. Everyone's been convicted. Male murder got like 11 years. Shotty got 15. A bunch of other guys got like 7, 8, 12. And,
Looks like the plan was successful.
Yeah.
Because this almost seems like a fucking plan.
This rainbow-haired kid took down the 9 Trey Bloods, which is one of the oldest blood sets in New York.
And it's funny, you know, there's a picture going around, and it's of him like at a quinceañera before all the tattoos
Right.
and all of this. And it's him with his little date or whatever. And the caption says, who would have ever thought that this is the guy that takes down the 9 Trey Bloods?
Which is exactly what he did.
Which is exactly what he did.
And he allegedly signed a $10 million record deal. He just got a new 6'9" diamond piece. So clearly
Really?
he's, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't even see that.
We saw a video. Yeah, there's a new 6'9" piece that he just got commissioned, which looks like it could easily be 30 to 50,000.
Right, easy.
Easy. And he's going to get out. I mean, if someone put a $10 million record deal behind him, they must be pretty confident that he's going to get out and sell records again.
So let me put out a warning, okay? Let me put out a warning. Because I think I've said in past interviews that, damn, this guy almost seems like he could be a fucking industry plant.
Not an industry plant, a government plant.
A government plant inside the industry.
Yeah.
So, and for all you motherfuckers that think, oh, word, he's not going into witness protection. Oh, I can't wait till he get out. We're going to touch him.
Y'all ain't gonna do nothing.
Y'all ain't going to do a motherfucking thing.
Well,
here's the thing.
If he has security. Now, if he's walking
no.
around.
If he has security, bro, he is the feds. Like, you know how motherfuckers say, yo, Vlad is the feds? No, I believe he really is the feds. Here's the thing. Like, he's going to be watched at all time. Like, why do you think he was so comfortable going up in people's cities and be like, suck my dick, I'm not checking in, all this type of shit? Like, that was more than just some 9 Trey.
Well, yeah.
Comfortability.
The reason he was even brought in is because all these guys had their phone tapped.
And they was going to get at him.
They were going to violate him. They're going to kill him.
Right. Kill him, beat him up.
Hurt him real bad, whatever.
I don't know. But anyway, here's my thing. I believe he did all of that because he was already down with the police, right? And they wanted to see who was going to come out the woodwork to try to hurt this dude in these different cities so they could lock these motherfuckers up or put them under investigation and all this kind of shit. You dig what I'm saying? So now all these motherfuckers that threatened them in the past, not even going to say who they are, but y'all need to watch yourselves and know that these motherfuckers is looking at you. So now anybody that think they're going to come at this nigga once he get out, you think they're not going to be, all on, even if there's a slight chance that you might do something.
Well,
they got your phone tapped, they got all that type of shit, and they gonna get you on the way to the fucking shit with the guns and all this other bullshit. Trust me, they're using him to draw people out. That's what the fuck they doing.
Well, I'm pretty sure that if Tekashi decided to walk down Flatbush Ave by himself, he would get beat up. He might not get killed, but he would get beat up.
And when he gets beat up, right after that, all of a sudden, police gonna come out of nowhere, swoop down on the niggas that beat him up, and these niggas is locked up.
Yeah, and they might get assault charges, but some people might say, fuck it. I'll take an assault charge. Now, I'm not gonna take a murder charge, but I'll take an assault charge.
This is what I'm saying, like, they're hoping that people are gonna try to kill him.
Right, because
that's what they're hoping.
Unless you,
and he's not gonna be stupid enough to walk down Flatbush by himself.
Unless you cause permanent injury, which would be aggravated assault. Simple assault is pretty much a slap on the wrist.
People are gonna once he gets out, even right now. Pardon me, just the whole talk of what he's gonna do, and first of all, how do we know all of this shit? Like, how is all this stuff being leaked to the people?
Well, number one, in any court setting, especially federal court, you have transcripts.
Well, I'm not talking about transcripts. I'm talking about when this motherfucker says, I'm not going into witness protection. I'm going to continue with my career. Like, who's he saying that to?
Yeah.
How's that type of information getting out there?
It could be through his lawyer.
Or his publicist.
You
see what I'm saying?
Well, it might be
or maybe they're the ones saying all this shit for him.
He gets phone calls.
Here's the thing. I just want to say real quick. So now, we put messages out there like that, right? They might have people's phones tapped right now.
They do have people's phones tapped
right,
right
but
now.
People that don't know that their shit is tapped.
Right.
You see? So now, they put these messages out onto the internet and shit. Oh, Tekashi's he just signed a $10 million deal. Somebody that doesn't necessarily know their phone is tapped, they're hearing, oh, word, this motherfucker just got 10 million and he's not, when he come out, we gonna violate this dude. Oh, really?
Yep.
Thank you for that. Or when he comes to my city, or they got different people in different cities.
Yeah.
And now, if that motherfucker come to the Chi, we gonna get him. Yeah. Oh, word? You gonna get him?
Yeah, see,
we got you.
I didn't know you could tap cell phones, but I talked to this one lawyer out here, and he goes, oh, yeah. He even told me at the number, that's a 2035 or something. It was like, yeah, you could.
Tap cell phones. You clone these things. You
Yeah.
can clone shit.
Yeah, it's
when
crazy.
you get a call, they get a call.
Yeah.
Like, that's what, when your shit ring, their shit ringing.
Let me tell you, the fall of BMF was because Big Meech's brother, Southwest T, in the words of Big Meech, was in love with his phone. They got so much shit on him talking on the phone about drug deals, I'm not sure about murders, but various other crimes, that it was just like they could not withstand what the feds had on their hands. Now, Big Meech himself never talked on the phone. You know, we have an interview with him where it was like, all right, what time you coming? You gonna be on time? Bye. Click. Well, I need the keys. Click. I don't know nothing about that.
I can't point at the mistakes that brought me down because they brought me down on my brother's indictment. You know what I'm saying? I can't just pinpoint all the finger on him. He's not the total blame. But the thing is, I didn't get caught for the things that I do, though. You see what I'm saying?
They didn't catch him with no drugs. They didn't catch him with really nothing but conspiracy. But his brother has so much shit on his phones that he had to just take the deal so he could actually have a release date one day. Ironically enough, both Tekashi's crew and Donald Trump are sort of in the same boat of talking on the phone because he's facing real impeachment charges right now from a phone call.
Well, first of all, he's facing an impeachment inquiry, which is
Yeah.
different.
But, you
It's
know,
like, we're going to talk about talking about an impeachment.
yeah, I mean, and the election's coming up pretty soon, so that's why people, oh, you know, what's the point, blah, blah. You never know. But from everything I've seen, he's furious about it and he's really scared.
Oh, Trump.
Yeah. And from what he said, I read the transcript, it's like, you're really trying to get a foreign government to help with the elections.
Here's the thing, like, isn't that what the fuck you was in trouble for before?
Yeah.
With
But
the
now,
Russia shit?
But now they caught him with his own voice. See, before it was like other people's, he had a buffer. He
Right.
had other people speaking on his behalf and they all went to jail and whatever else.
Right, but because
now,
you didn't get in trouble,
Right.
so you think, and like you're back in the same part of
Right.
the world.
And-
like it was
yeah.
Russia,
Yeah.
now it's the Ukraine. Like
Right.
what is your obsession with trying to get information from these people in that part of the world?
Let me
Like,
tell you, you know, I love my Russian and Ukrainian people, but they are not the most honest people in the world. Like, you know, let me just say it. These are not.
so they will steal some information on
I
someone.
consider myself an honest person, but when I looked at some of the people I grew up with and everything else like that, they weren't always the most straightforward, straight shooters. And the thing about it also is that not only did he say these things to the Ukrainian president, but then his team ended up taking that transcript and trying to bury it. They
Right.
put it on a server that it did not even belong on because they knew that this was catastrophic. So they tried to hide it, which made it even worse. So now you
Right.
have a cover-up along with treason. So it's an ugly
Watergate-ish.
situation. We'll see what happens. Well, speaking of the law, Cuba Gooding Jr. now has 13 more women accusing him of sexual misconduct.
You should have never played OJ.
That energy's following him?
They're punishing him. They're punishing him for playing OJ.
This is all you. I'm not co-signing
Oh,
this.
yeah.
This is all you.
Oh yeah. Come on.
I'm not co-signing this. It's pretty funny.
Sweet.
It's pretty funny though.
Sweet, nice Cuba Gooding. Come on. This nigga, and first of all, see, and this is also the backlash too of when a black guy has a nice taste for white women. Oh, they
Oh,
always.
these are all white girls?
Oh, I believe these are white girls. Yeah. So, yeah, when you got a taste for white women, man, I think at some point, it's like it's duly noted, but you do something, fuck around, and yeah, I think he's being punished for playing OJ. Is that too far-fetched?
I don't know, man. That's a little far-fetched, but
I think they hate OJ that much. They hate OJ that much that the motherfucker who played him, oh, you're gonna try to make OJ look good in a motherfucking TV series? Oh, no, you don't, motherfucker. Oh, no, you don't. You think you're gonna be getting nominated for shit for OJ? Oh, no, we hate OJ so much, we're gonna punish you, motherfucker.
You know, and I just hate.
And it went from one girl to now 13. How does it?
14 total.
How does this happen, yo?
You know, and the thing is, it's like, yo, I just.
And once the pylon comes, they act like, oh, it's got to be real. Once it goes from one person to these type of numbers,
well, let me ask
that's
you
what happened to Cosby.
Let me ask you a question. Where was all the criminal charges from all these 13 other women? Why is it suddenly coming up now? 13 other ones.
Because
no cases, no nothing. But now when they see there's a traction.
I saw Megan's case, it made me feel brave enough to come out. And then when Holly came forth, you know, that made me feel like I had the courage in myself.
Did you watch Bill Burr's stand-up special on Netflix?
Oh yeah, he
said,
was
yo,
hilarious.
what the hell's happening these days? He came 15 minutes late on our date. He didn't open the door for me. He assaulted me. Like, yo,
see, I can't. He said, because I'm somewhat of a victim blamer. Like, is that? Oh no, that was Chappelle. He was like, because I'll be like, what'd you do? Yeah, man. I don't know if he did this shit or not, but I'm just saying, like, there seems to be a pattern here, Vlad. And it seems like, all right, when one comes, maybe you can defend that. But when they start to pile on, when the pile-on comes, that's almost like they're trying to say, oh, he's definitely guilty now. Like, look at all these women that are coming forth now. Like,
you know how I look at it?
He must have been a monster.
I look at it as a money grab. That's how I look at it. It's a fucking money grab. Because at the end of the day, if you can get a lawyer to take your case on contingency, that means that you don't have to pay anything. And the person who you're suing is forced to defend themselves, has to spend money. And when it comes to the cost of actually going to trial, most people end up settling because it's just cheaper than going to trial. I remember Nick Cannon told me the amount of money that he paid, and I'm not going to say how much it was, because his 1.5-year-old baby allegedly headbutted the nanny. It was a ridiculous amount of money.
That's crazy.
For a baby headbutt.
Right.
Someone that was being paid already to take care of that baby.
Right.
That's
what babies do. They got loose necks, first of all.
They got loose necks.
Just headbutted her by accident. He was just, bam!
And at the end of the day, he said it was cheaper to just pay this person that amount of money, because I think he was married to Mariah at the time, so they were looking at a big paycheck, than just keep paying their lawyers and going to trial. It would have cost them that in legal fees even before the trial. So they said, all right, take this damn money and let's just sign these forms and sign these non-disclosures and keep it moving. And it's just pathetic the way it works in this country. And I hope that the laws are going to change at one point. But the way it works now is that if you can get a lawyer, now your wife is a lawyer. Now a lawyer is not going to take on every case, because at the end of the day, if the person says, all right, let's go to court, and the judge throws it out, then that person gets nothing. And the lawyer gets left with a hole in the bag, and all the work they did is for nothing. But if the judge lets it go, then you're going to have to cut a check. That's just the way it works. And I think these women are like, yeah.
I want some money.
I want some money too. I went on a date once. Nothing happened.
He rubbed against me one time at a bar, even though the bar was mad crowded, and he said, excuse me, like this, but his man happened to rub against your ass, and now...
No proof, no video, no physical evidence, no nothing. Remember, there was a situation where Amanda Seales accused some doctor that of some sort of like sexual misconduct or whatever, and he came out and said, I never even met her. We had one phone conversation. Like, she's like, oh, well, other people were telling me my DMs there, but she made it sound like, you know, she's fucking, this dude was a doctor. This was like a football player turned doctor, and it was like someone who people looked up to and everything else like that. This guy didn't do anything. Never even met her. But she was on a big platform talking about it, and now his life is fucked. Not fucked, but his life is affected.
I wish I could sue all the girls at the tunnel back in the days that would like grab my dick when I walk by or some shit and just look at me like, yeah, and what? Damn.
I'm all caught up to the Wu-Tang
I am
TV
too.
series.
I am too.
And the last episode had a whole 5% theme going on. Just
Yes.
Ice, I guess, was a big 5%er.
Oh, well, there's another. You didn't see the last episode.
Oh, I missed that.
There's another one.
You
There's
know
a
that's
newer
what I'm
one.
talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And Just Ice got into
Yeah, he put it. Just Ice is the god. Yeah.
Yeah, he rolled up on the RZA and was like, yo, you know what your name means?
Prince Rakeem. Don't be out here, you know what I mean, manifesting a righteous name and not knowing the science, not knowing the lessons.
Right.
And Jizza came in and
with
saved
the
them.
Boom, boom, boom. Right, because a lot of the Wu-Tang was 5%, right?
Yes.
All of them or just some of them?
I mean, from what I know, a majority of them. Yeah, all of them, from what I knew. And see, when I watch this, I'm not sure how much of this is, you know, Hollywood and actual life. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the Wu-Tang are all like executive producers of this, and I think
right, but you have to
RZA's
tell a story and all
Yeah.
of that too. From what I understand, in real life, they already had knowledge. But maybe I'm wrong. But from what I understood, because if you listen to Prince Rakeem's song, like there's little things in there that he's saying that is like little 5% lingo and shit like that. Like, so I feel like he had knowledge when he wrote that song. Like, you know what I mean? And when they all came out, from day one of them coming out, I knew them all as having like righteous names. Like they call in Raekwon Shah in there, but that's Shallah Raekwon. And Shallah is you know what I mean? Raekwon, that's a righteous names. Those are 5% of names. Method Man was, I forget his righteous, I think of Shaquan, I think was Method Man's righteous name is Shaquan. U-God, I don't know where U-God is right now in the series. He's the only one that I'm like, where's U-God?
Well, he was locked up during that time.
I think so. That's what I'm assuming. But we haven't heard
I interviewed
anything
him.
about.
Yeah, I interviewed him. Kind of one of my more interesting interviews.
I know. I haven't
But
heard.
he was talking about he was locked up during that time.
Okay.
How much of it did you actually see come together? Because at one point you end up getting locked up.
You know the damn story, Vlad, man. Stop acting like you don't know the damn story, man. You know I was locked up.
Okay, no, but I'm saying, but before you got locked up, was the whole album done?
Well, you know, it wasn't done. You know, I came home right on time to get on 2 songs, and I ran into the studio, and I got on 2 songs, and I got locked back up again.
Yeah, I hope show them at some point.
You know what's interesting also? Is that Young Dirty Bastard is not playing ODB.
Well, here's the thing. Whoever is playing ODB is killing it.
Yeah.
Like, mad people thought that was ODB's son, and
It's
I'm like,
not.
no, it's not.
He nailed it.
He nailed it. Like, I'm talking the speech, the look, the mannerisms, like, because if you keep it 1,000, not everybody on that show is like fully embodying their character. They're kind of like,
Yeah, Dave East really isn't fooling me for Method Man. Like,
Dave East, listen, Dave East to me is, he's trying,
Yeah.
he's trying to have the essence of Method Man, but I
Yeah.
feel like he's still Dave East.
He's still Dave East.
You understand what I'm saying? He's still Dave East.
The speech
The-
patterns aren't really there.
They're not there. The guy who plays RZA, the speech patterns are there. Everybody knows RZA for his lisp type of the way RZA talks. This guy does not sound like RZA at all. He's a little darker than
Yeah.
RZA.
Yeah.
Um,
Raekwon is good.
He's all right. He's one of the better. I'm telling you, the one that's doing the best job as far as imitating the person is the one that's playing dirty.
And this reminds me of my interview with Lil Easy, how he was actually up for the role of Eazy-E in the Straight Outta Compton movie, and they gave it to that dude Jason instead, and how he was kind of upset over that because he really looks like Eazy-E.
And from what I understand, you wanted to be in the movie to play your dad.
Oh, yeah, it would have been great. Terrific, yeah.
You auditioned for the movie?
Most definitely. A couple of times. I was called back 2 or 3 times.
Why do you think you didn't get the role? Because you look just like him. Ice Cube's son, who also looks like Ice Cube, got the role, but you didn't end up getting the role.
You know, I'm a realist, you know what I mean? It's nothing people could take away. I was, you know, was told that you needed a more polished actor at the time to play the most important role. And I remember meeting with F. Gary Gray with Dr. Dre one time. And of course, you know, Dr. Dre goes all the way. He always, it's kind of like, you could tell him he's like in a deep stare and kind of like a, you know, because I can't blame him, but sometimes when I do while I walk in, I give you that feel, and I'm just, when you look at me like, whoa, this is Eric's son. He looks just like him. So it definitely been told and appreciative of you saying it. It's always appreciative of somebody recognizing that. But if Gary Gray asked me a question about all kind of things, weight, when he's sick, they want him to be smaller. I can transition to losing that much weight, which is, a lot of people follow me know I couldn't bounce back, you know, look like G.I. Joe to being daddy shape. So that, and will I be able to play the hospital part? This is what he personally asked me. Could you take that playing the deaf part? And really, yeah, I mean, my grandma always taught me there's nothing you can't put your mind to do. You know, so that's my mind state, but I understand where they were their focal points were and the things that they probably had, you know, a little sensitivity on. So, you know, I took it for what it was.
But at the end of the day, from what I understand, is that he may not have gone through all the steps of learning how to act.
Yeah, you need the acting chops.
Yeah.
It's not just looking like someone.
He wasn't taking it as seriously as like Ice Cube's son, who now has other roles and so forth. So maybe, you know, Young Dirty Bastard just didn't take it seriously
And
enough.
Ice Cube's son was groomed for that. You see what I'm saying? I can guarantee you Ice Cube was grooming his son for years. Ever since he realized, yo, this little motherfucker look just like me.
Right.
I need to fucking make him the new Ice Cube when I get older.
Right. And I was disappointed that Young Dirty Bastard wasn't, because damn, he looks just like him.
But
this guy
if you
nailed
see
it.
Dirty, in defense of the casting of that, like if you see old Dirty Bastard right now, you know, he looks older. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, Young Dirty Bastard?
Yeah, and he's gained a little weight. He's not.
Oh, it's not the same one that I interviewed. I mean, he doesn't look the same as when I interviewed him.
No. Back then, he looked more like Dirty. A few years have passed, if you think about it, since the last time.
It's true, yeah.
It's been 4 or 5 years since you interviewed him.
Yeah, no, you're right.
If you watch him, because he's on Grown Up Hip Hop New York right now.
Oh, okay.
So go check him out on there, and you'll see that he actually has gained a little weight, and you know what I mean? Like, he still looked like Dirty, but not like this guy, like a younger Dirty, you know what I mean? He looked like Dirty if Dirty would have grown up, you know what I mean? Like, and still been living right now.
Yeah, well, it's a cool series. A little slow at times, but overall solid series.
I didn't feel it was slow at all. I like it.
Yeah?
I'm totally into it. I'm there for every episode. Every Wednesday, I'm right there. And another show I'm watching, since we're talking about shows right now, Godfather of Harlem.
Yep, watching that
with
too.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yep.
Great fucking show.
Great show.
I recommend it.
Yep.
I did a poll recently.
I think I saw it.
I said, who's the worst beat picker of all time? Eminem or Nas?
Is it still at 50%? Because I'll just make it. I'll tip the scales right now. I'll tip the scales right now for you.
Well, the poll's over. 2,259 votes. Eminem won as the worst beat picker by 51%. by 1 percentage point. But for the
But I'm gonna put my extra percent on there, and
52%.
Yeah, 52%.
Right, but for the longest time, it was 50-50. I have never in my life, of all the polls, and I put up polls to get thousands of votes all the time.
Right.
This is regular for me.
You never saw a 50-50 poll.
I've never
like
seen
that.
50-50 ever in life. I thought it was going to stop at 50-50.
Right.
And people were like, well, if it's only 1 vote difference, how could it be, how could it be an odd number? Because it's thousands of votes.
Right.
It gets to the point where it takes 10 votes to do a percentage point.
Right.
But Eminem, but the thing is, it's very close. People obviously feel the same way about Eminem as they do about Nas in terms of beat picking.
Well, is it your constituency that feels this way?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And I've obviously
Have you swayed this fucking conversation in a way that the people that follow you kind of know if you put Nas on there, well, Vlad feels this, so let me just click that Nas. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Well, I never said Eminem was a great beat picker either. And this was really an offshoot.
You never beat him up about it either.
Well, that's true. But now I am. Now I am. And this was really kind of a reaction to Tyler, the Creator, saying Eminem picks the worst beats ever.
Right.
This was like on a podcast with Rick Rubin, I believe.
Right.
So I was like, well, shit. If he says he's the worst beat picker ever, let's see how he stacks up to Nas. And it was, like I said, it was 50-50 for like a whole, like the majority of the time. I like Lost Tapes too. It was cool.
No, I liked it.
I liked it.
I
didn't think that it was a classic. It's not Stillmatic.
No.
It's not Lost Tapes 1. But it was good.
Solid.
It was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Solid. But at the end of the day, I feel that his contemporaries pick better beats than he does.
His contemporaries?
Yeah, not his contemporaries. The Jay-Z's, the J. Cole's, the Kendricks. People who are mentioned in the same conversation as Nas pick better beats than he does. Except for Eminem, who picks about the same. I probably won't get a Nas interview, but I doubt I would have gotten one anyways.
I like a lot of Nas's beats, but
yeah,
there was something.
It is what it is.
Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott have broken up.
I'm so broken up over this.
I know.
It hurts me in
here.
Do
you want to take a moment so you can cry in the other room?
No, go ahead.
We're good? You
I'll
sure?
get through it.
You'll get through it?
I'll get through
Push
it.
through it.
I'll get through it.
Push through it.
All right.
I'll get some tissue if you want.
Okay.
If necessary, just
no.
Just say tissue and I'll get it.
Why, Vlad? Why?
Well, you have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Your son's mother you were never married to.
Mm-hmm.
But your daughter's mother, were you guys married first and then you guys had the kids, had your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there was a big difference in terms of the experience of raising your child in a situation where you were married as opposed to a situation where you would have to co-parent?
No, because I wasn't married to the first one on paper doesn't mean I wasn't with her like it was a marriage.
Okay.
Like I lived with her and all of that.
The whole time?
Yeah. Most of the time, until we broke up, but that was, years.
How old was your son when you guys broke up, when you and his mother broke up?
Like 6.
Pretty young. So from 6 to 18, you were not in the house all the time. Permanently. You were not permanently in the house.
Yeah, but he still was with me, you know what I mean? But yeah, at that point, that's when a co-parenting
that's what I'm saying.
Existed. But that's a nice amount, He's up and talking now, you understand what I'm saying? So it's not like those formidable years as a baby, some people do a co-parenting from the minute they come out, you know what I mean? He was with me, all that time, yeah.
I personally believe that if you're going to have a child, the ideal situation is for the parents to be married.
Right, but here's the thing. I don't believe that you can be married without being married on paper.
True.
You see what I'm saying? If you are here with the person,
Yeah.
and y'all are committed to each other like that, that's a marriage. Like, I
Fair
don't
enough.
believe that
Okay.
you have to be on paper to do it. The second one I happen to be on paper, but I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Well, how about this? I believe that if you're going to have a child, the ideal situation is to have both parents living together with the child.
Yes, I agree.
How's that?
Yes, absolutely.
And when you look at the Kardashian Jenner clan, as much shit as everyone talks about Kim and Kanye, they're the only ones who are actually married with children.
And keeping it together.
Keeping it together. And he's probably the most difficult baby daddy out of all of them. If you really think about it. Bipolar, goes off the rails on a regular basis, supports Trump.
Yeah.
Weird statements about slavery, attacks random people, and so
Now
forth.
He's a zealot.
Yeah. Wears MAGA hats. I'm sure he is quite a handful for Kim.
Right, but all of them, the rest of them are baby mamas.
The rest of them are baby mamas.
And the only one that's a wife
is Kim.
And
Even their mom, even the mother
married
is
right
not
now.
even married anymore.
Right.
She got a little boyfriend.
Yeah. She's a little piece. Well, I don't know if she's a side piece, but
no.
She's just somebody's piece.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are all grown now, so technically that doesn't really matter. But still, the only married one out of that whole crew. And look at and the ones who have kids are Chloe, never married. Courtney, never married. Rob, never married.
And
Kylie,
Mm-hmm.
never married. All of them have kids out of wedlock. And in most of the cases, it's somewhat of a mess. Courtney's thing seems to be okay. Her and Scott Disick seem to be kind of in an okay place, even though Scott's had alcohol
she's the only
problems.
one that didn't have a kid with a black guy.
Yeah, I don't think that really matters, but whatever.
I'm just saying. She's the only.
Yeah.
Kim is the only one that's married.
Yeah.
She's the only one that had a kid with a white guy.
Right. Although she had two kids with basically an alcoholic. So that was not a walk in the park either, I'm sure. But it just kind of stuns me that, like, here goes Kylie, but 19 years old. You come out of a relationship with Tiger. You start dating this other rapper. You get pregnant, and you decide to keep it. Well, number one, you're probably not using birth control. You're not married. You've never even been engaged. And now you're broken up, and now you're a single mom. When you have all this money and all this firsthand experience of what your sisters are going through, and yet you still go ahead and have this baby anyways. I just don't get it, personally. I just don't get it. Because you can't even say, well, they didn't know any better, or, they were just young and impulsive, whatever else. It's like, come on, you know better. And so now, well, it just is what it is now.
And she probably gonna go back with Tiger.
Yeah, they're saying that.
Right.
Maybe.
Have his baby.
Okay.
Now you got two babies out of wedlock.
And then one of his baby mamas has if that happened, then one of his baby mamas has a kid with his sisters, with his baby mama's brother. You see how this tangled web.
Confusing it gets. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's like, you get what you wish for sometimes. Like these privileged white girls want to dabble in hood shit so much. Well, here you go. You got you a hood configuration now. Now you got you a family that is fragmented, just like what happens in the hood. You know what I mean? Like y'all wanted to act like y'all was so hood. Well, here you go.
Well, although,
but you're not gonna have to go through the same hood shit that single mothers in the hood have to go through, because y'all bitches is rich.
Right. But here goes Courtney, who had babies with Scott Disick, who was not a hood guy. And this has nothing to do with his color. He came from somewhat of a well-to-do family. And, you know, she's single as well. And they're having dependency problems and so forth.
So what is it? Is it the mother? It's the mother. Because, I mean, that's who they look up to. That was their example, right? That was the one they looked to shape and mold them as the type of woman they want to be.
Or maybe it's they now understand that they can monetize their children because they themselves were monetized children. So they look at it and say, well, look, I'm not going to be the hot Instagram model for the rest of my life, but I could go ahead and monetize my baby.
And that's why they all make trademarks for names and all of that immediately, right?
I think so. I'm not sure.
But no, go ahead. This is a good theory. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stormy. They all
can
have
see
little
it.
unique names. I mean,
Right.
look, and Kylie monetized better than everybody. She became like kind of like the richest one, even though Kim was the one that started it all. Kylie was the one that was like the billionaire or whatever.
Right. And so now that they broke up, she don't have to ask for no child support like a regular hood mama. She should be good, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They should be able to work it out amongst themselves. She has enough money to really not have to ask him for nothing.
No.
It would just be principle, I guess. Like, this is your daughter.
Yeah, and I think
or
that
whatever it is.
I've always gotten the impression, I mean, unless the baby ends up not being his. which
is a possibility.
Which is a possibility.
Don't think these fucking hoes ain't hoes. Because a hoe
tell
is
you.
as a hoe does.
Right, like one of my friends that I know since elementary school, he had white Russian parents, right? And it was only years later he found out that his mother cheated with a black guy at work, got pregnant, baby came out, ended up being the black guy's baby. Baby came out looking black, and the father tried to sort of pretend that that was his son. And they told him that he must have had a black relative somewhere in the family that the recessive gene popped up again. And it wasn't until high school when he finally was told the truth and he met his real father, who died soon afterwards, and met all his half brothers and half sisters and everything else like that. You see these weird types of situations all over the place.
I see him on Maury every day.
Yeah, I mean, I know a guy, you know, personally that went through that.
You are not the father.
Yeah, people raise kids. Yeah, my ex. Yeah, my ex's
that was
cousin.
a nightmare, let me tell you, of like getting a girl pregnant. Like that was the fear. Like, damn, what if you get a girl pregnant and then, you know what I mean? But what if it's not yours and she lies and then you raise a kid that's not yours, and you know what I mean? Like, this is some of the anxiety that you go through as a man.
I've had 3 women in my lifetime tell me they were pregnant.
Because mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Yeah. I've had 3 women through the course of my life tell me that they were pregnant when they really weren't. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It is not a fun place to be in. It is not. Now, I'm very glad none of them had the babies. Thank God. Thank God. But, man, you don't know. Maybe the child isn't his. Maybe that's what broke him up. Maybe that's just going to be one of these unspoken things. But who knows? Who knows? At the end of the day, it's a better situation when both parents are in the home. Co-parenting is cool, you know. Every other weekend, you know, these days of the week is cool, but I feel it takes 2 parents at the same time to really raise a kid in an ideal situation. That's what I think.
Nature thinks that too.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
There you go. Lord Jamar, always a pleasure.
Vlad.
My man.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.